Clarence, Piso, Jackson.
Today is the 30th of September, the last day in the month of September, and today is the anniversary of the Press Union of Liberia. Today makes the Press Union of Liberia 61 years old. And so journalists are gathering at the PUL newest headquarters on 9th Street for a parade that will subsequently lead to the campuses of the... the parade is going to start from somewhere around the UX campus, and it's going to be concluded at the PUL new headquarters where indoor programs are expected to be held. Happy anniversary to all of the journalists in and outside of Liberia. I'm talking about Liberian journalists. Welcome to the OK Morning Rush on 99.5 OK FM this morning. Today is Tuesday. This is the last presentation of the month. Tomorrow is the 1st of August. That's October. We're ushering a new month. Happy birthday to all of you. Wonderful people celebrating. Too many things to talk about today, so I'm not going to take much of the time. We're going to go straight and get sponsor messages. Then we come back here and talk about the issues. My name is Piso. Good morning to all of you. Get the kids to school this morning. Let's take a break. To be right back. Too much happening.
Things are on me with the emergency. How do I manage again?
But Tanu, why are you sitting here just talking by yourself?
Julie, I need money quick. I want to go find somebody to credit me. Then I will pay them as soon as I get paid with the more in.
EcoBank can credit you, but the only thing you have to pay in 1 month, and the good thing, the interest are just 3%.
For you?
Yeah, just go to any EcoBank branch and you ask for the form to enroll you on their salary advance platform. When they give you the form, you fill it up and you make sure your HR sign it. Then you take that form back to the bank. After you carry it to the bank, they will send you a message to let you know that you're already on the platform. Then you can use the *326# and request for 50% of your salary. Instantly, you will receive it.
Wow, just like that? Right, any tomorrow morning, Judy, I'm going to the bank to pick up the phone quick.
Yo, go get the form quick. In less than 1 week, you receive the money. And what I like about it, and they can't even ask you for collateral set.
I go in there right now, no wasting time, oh.
I'm not saying you must not go there right now. You must make sure you pay the bank money back.
Hey, Judy, that you talking so, I will pay back quick so I can credit again. Echo Bank na easy, oh. Echo Bank, the Pan-African Bank.
My boy, you know.
Yeah.
Hello, my Oma, how you doing?
Lomo? Hello. Alright. You want buy some more, eh?
Yeah, but way small. Oma, why the money you taking from your bag looking tear and dirty so?
Oh, my son. People, you get hot, oh. Money na money. Wala you clean or tell against the bar.
No, Oma, no. We need to stop doing the thing here. You yourself, say the Central Bank of Liberia say we should handle and take care of our money in a very good way. Because this money is our country money. And for other or two.
My son, let me ask you here. What do you mean by taking care of our money good way?
Oh, man. When I say taking care of our money good way, it means you must not squeeze the money. You might not write on the money, and you might not keep the money in your bra or in your wet place. Use wallet or small envelope. If we all take care of our money, the money can last long, and we not have to waste plenty of money to print new money. And say the government can spend plenty of money to print new money, and then so.
Oh, so you mean if we treat our money bad, the country will spend more, eh?
Yeah, oh man, you getting it now. And even against the law, for you to spoil the country money or to use the coins to turn it into change. Some people they're melting the coins and turning it into chains and rings. The CBL says if you spoil the money or melt the coin, you can get in big trouble with the law, yeah? Yeah.
Hey, I never know that one day, my son. Hey. From today, I will keep my money clean in my waist bag because our money is our pride, my son.
Yeah, oh man. When we keep our money clean, it can show that we respect the country and it will save the government from spending plenty of money to print new money. And say that money that the government can be spending to print new money can be spent on our hospital. It can be spent for all to buy medicine. And it can even help to pay our road.
I see. Thank you, Flomo. Thank you plenty, my son.
Okay, man.
Thank you for giving me all the good advice. I will be telling the other people to take good care of our money. What?
Our money is our proud. Let's handle it with care. Don't squeeze it. Don't write on it. Keep it dry. Don't melt the coins to make chain or ring out of it. Our money is our proud.
Central Bank says if you see anybody not holding our money good or they melting the coins, please call these numbers 0887 367 539 or 0772 289 013. A message from the Central Bank of Liberia, CBL.
I see you in a hurry. What are you up to?
Klubo, I'm getting ready. Don't you know that come October 1, Liberia, through the Liberia Agricultural Commodity Regulatory Authority, or LACRA, will be joining the rest of the world in celebrating International Coffee Day?
Tell me more, Koli. What is International Coffee Day?
International Coffee Day is celebrated on October 1 every year. It is an occasion that is used to promote and celebrate coffee as a drink. Liberia, through the Liberia Agricultural Commodity Regulatory Authority, or LACRA, is using this year's celebration to promote our own Liberian coffee known as Liberica. We want to tell the world that Liberia has the best coffee and to draw international support to increase the production of our own Liberian coffee. So in short, we want to lift the profile of our own Liberica coffee. For too long, our coffee, which is the best in the world, has been on the table. We want to make sure it stands up strong like other coffee drinks.
Tell me something. What are the health benefits of drinking Liberica coffee?
Liberica coffee offers several health benefits, including enhanced mental alertness, or in short, it can make your brain sharp, especially when you take a sip early in the morning. It also helps protect you from heart disease.
So, where is this year's celebration taking place?
This year's celebration is taking place at BWI campus in Kakata Magibi County. It will start with a street parade and an indoor program which begins at 9 a.m. Several partners have been invited, including officials of government. We say, join us on October 1 at BWI in Kakata Magibi County for the celebration of International Coffee Day.
Yes, it's Marie Manga. Have you heard about the one and only Marie Manga herbal supplement? Marie Manga is a Liberian-made herbal supplement. It helps to boost the human immune system to fight against cancer, pressure, and many other sicknesses. Meanwhile, people that used to sell the Marie Manga herbal supplement in Bon, Nimba, and Lofa County have finally settled down in Moserado and its surrounding. The Marie Manga Hot Tea Supplement is available now in the following office stations: Bona Farm, opposite Mankumba Benu Tissue Factory, King Johnson Road and Clay Street intersection towards OES Transport Building. Kakata, Mangibi County, Bassa Community around the radio station, Ganta City, Glelu Community around the People Street, YMCA Junction, Campley City, Nimba County, Broad Street, opposite Facebook, Vonjama City, Lofa County. Yes, it's Marie Manga. Marie Manga Hot Tea Supplement is a registered supplement with the Liberia Medicine and Health Product Regulatory Authority, LMHRA. For more information about the Marie Manga Hot Tea Supplement, contact us on the following numbers: 0888-856776, 0777 444 591, and 0775-499549. Yes, it's Marie Manga, Liberia owned Herbert Supplement.
In your sickness.
Chatu, where you dey go? Where you dey find?
Why they ask me that kind of question? Say where I dey go? Where I dey go? I dey come. You don't hit my car.
You Menju, why you walking and talking all by yourself so?
My sister, that my car business are really thinking about so to get car in this country is really not easy. Since I put in for my cars and other goods, it is almost 1 year I can't get anything.
But it says stranger who always asks don't miss their way. Haven't you heard about urban used cars and auto parts?
You mean urban used cars and auto parts?
Yes, urban used cars and auto parts is 100% Liberian owned business. With urban used cars and auto parts, you can purchase your new cars, used cars, and all cars parts directly from America for an affordable price. Urban used cars and auto parts can also help you ship your parrots, your boxes, containers, and other goods from your relatives abroad within just 4 to 6 weeks.
Wow, this is a good news. Where can I find urban used cars and auto parts?
If you are in Liberia, Urban Used Cars and Auto Parts is located Fish Market, Tottenham Boulevard, Monrovia, Liberia. And in the USA, 220 10th Street, Brookhaven, Pennsylvania, 19015, United States of America. You can also visit their Facebook page, Urban Used Cars and Auto Parts International, or call cell number +231 887 0122
Thank you for this information. I am visiting Urban Used Cars and Auto Parts to begin the process of my cars and other goods.
Urban Used Cars and Auto Parts. Our goal is to allow Liberians have access to buy things from America without being cheated.
I'd like to say welcome back to the OK Morning Rush. Today is Tuesday, the 30th of September. Today is the last day in the month. And yes, like I said, today is the 61st anniversary of the Press Union of Liberia. Let's go to the BBC and acquaint you with some of the stories, especially this one from Madagascar, where the president has apparently heeded to the calls of the young people in our country. The president recently fired the energy minister after electricity went up for a few hours, and the young people have been demanding the president dissolve the entire government. Madagascar's president has said he will dissolve his government following days of youth-led protests over long-standing water and power cuts. We acknowledge and apologize if members of the government have not carried out the task assigned to them, Andriy Rajoelina said in a televised national address on Monday. The so-called Gen Z protests have seen thousands of predominantly young demonstrators take to the streets in cities across Madagascar since Thursday on the rallying cry, "We want to live, not survive." The United Nations Human Rights Chief condemned the unnecessary force used by security forces to quell the unrest, saying that at least 22 people have been killed and 100 others injured. Madagascar's foreign ministry has rejected the UN's figure, alleging the data is based on rumors of misinformation. Protests first started in the capital, Antananarivo, but have since spread to 8 cities across the country. A dusk-to-dawn curfew was imposed in the city after reports of violence and looting, with police firing rubber bullets and tear gas to disperse the crowds. In Madagascar, the president has promised to dissolve the entire cabinet. That is the demand from the young people after a few hours of power and water supply went shut. You know, the young people over there, they've been protesting. They want the president to dissolve the cabinet. The president has accepted and said he would do just that, apologizing to the young people. The UN office there has also issued a statement that the force, the security force are using on the protesters is so hard. They've said 22 persons have died and several injured. Government, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs there, has rejected those numbers and said it is based on rumors and other issues. Now, let's come home. Let's firstly recognize some of the people who've joined us on our last page, live Facebook page, OKFM 99.5 and OKTV. Tony Gamoyu says, good morning, Clarence. Aruna J. Bobe, I'm following from Brewerville. Good morning, OKFM. Leo George Yolo. Good morning, Big Brother Clarence. I'm watching from the traffic. Honorable Musa Donso Senior, Clarence, happy anniversary to the PL and all of our selfless journalists in and outside of Liberia. Ramsey Stubblefield follows us from Asia. Tito Jua is joining us from this country. Emmanuel Blake joins us from, he says he's watching. Opa Tia Jion says he's watching from Madonna Street. Derek Gatte joins us from home. Bush Barron is joining us. Auntie Sheridan Kemon is joining us, I'm sure from work or from home. Auntie Sherry, good morning to you. Ojuku Davis, good morning, OKFM family, and I'm watching you live from EOW Junction. Zayangla Chei is watching. Zayangla, a lot of lawmakers have been reaching out to me. I hope you'll be able to devour their interest, you know, to be able to serve all of them. The demand is too much. Emmanuel S. Brown, Richie D. Myers, Robert C. Mumbo, Daniel Tente will join us from Tinkers Village. Dana, we got to play one trade to Toyota, my brother. This one is following us. Prince Claw joins us. Sheku, Jeko, Junior, Piso, Tali, Safi, Bernal, Fomba, MCC, and all of you who've joined us. We'd like to say thanks to all of you. Thanks to everybody for joining us. The Liberia Football Association has and this one was on our sports news yesterday. Thanks to LFA President Mustafa Raji rather. Thanks to President Raji and the rest of the team there at the FA for all you're doing for football development in Liberia. We are proud of you. The Liberia Football Association, in partnership with FIFA's Forward Program, has dedicated a FIFA stand-up pitch facility in Gampa, that's in Ganta, Nimba County, as part of its ongoing infrastructure development. The Gampa project includes floor lines, an underground sprinkler or irrigation system, and an inner security fence. Additional facilities include a roofed spectator stand and artificial turf built to FIFA-approved standards. Nimba Superintendent, obviously, the Iron Lady Miampe Gono expressed that the delegation of the facility opened doors to dreams and new possibilities. She said it is a future where local talents can be nurtured. She also appealed to the LFA and its partners to replicate similar initiatives across Nimba. I know Ko will do that. LFA President Mustafa Rajiv, for his part, as well as Minister of Youth and Sports Jericho Bangalo, my former friend, emphasized that the facility will boost grassroots sports development and create economic and social opportunities for locals. They follow call for increased budgetary support to construct similar pitches across the country. For me, I want to see more of these pitches going to the southeast. Let's do something Grand Crew. Let's do something at the Abo White Sports Stadium in Zwedru, for example. Let's do more of these things. Thanks to all of you, man, for everything you do for Liberia. Look, I want to talk about a lot of things this morning, but I'm going to start from the death of young police officer Mark Briswell, a 31-year-old, whose only crime was to be a police officer to serve his country. And you see, I don't see a lot of people talking about it. I was just talking to somebody last evening and said, if it were the other way around, that a police officer shot and killed somebody, all of us would be talking about it. The young police officer was killed in that manner. It is a concern. And as I watched his father, who is also a police officer. You see, I believe this was about a family legacy. The father is a police officer. Probably he's thinking about retiring or will be retiring some days. And I'm strongly of the conviction that he is the one who might have convinced his son to join the police force so that when he's retiring, the family will be replaced. You know, as the guy stood over there yesterday by the IG sharing tears and trying to remember his son, and the moment he received the telephone call that his 31-year-old son had been killed, he reminded me about that night when I received that call about the death of my son. I was crazy. I would run out of my fence, come back, run out of the fence, come back. I mean, I was crazy. I went mad. Temporarily went mad. I could not understand what was happening. I thought it was a joke. And up till now, sometimes I still feel it's a joke. I still feel one day he's going to come around. That was the feeling in me yesterday when I saw that young man in tears because his son was killed in that manner. The bravery in this country, the lawlessness to some extent, and the wanton disregard for the rule of law in this country that I believe is foundation on the culture of impunity. Too many times we say, let it be so. We're all Liberians. Let it stay. Too much disregard for the rule of law foundation on the culture of impunity that have engulfed our country. People are so brave that a taxi driver will be stopped by a police officer who's trying to instill law and order. And because you didn't want to stop, you attempted running into him, and he had no other alternative but to just jump and lie down on the right in front of the car on that dashboard. And I can imagine how that guy was shouting, "Put me down," and other people were shouting. But that driver didn't do it. He didn't put that guy down. He drove the guy across the bridge, and I'm told he smashed him up. I believe that's premeditation. I don't know what the police investigation is going to establish. But that is not a normal accident. No. Because you had an issue with the police guy. The guy stopped you. Attempted to go. And because you wanted to run into him, he decided he had no other alternative but to just jump and lie down over that car. You would have stopped. You should have stopped. You didn't do that. You drove him across the bridge and you smashed him up. And so his only crime was because he's a police officer who attempted to use the law. That's unacceptable. The way we are so brave on police, that police officer is a Liberian, for God's sake. You saw a father who is also a police officer. He's young, 31 years old. He didn't deserve to die the way he did. This is wrong. That the audacity to even do that, to intentionally drive wrong with that young officer and smash him up. Look, in every institution, there will be bad people. In the police, among the medical doctors, among journalists, among football players, wherever you go, among the engineers, some of them will take your money, they will use substandard material on your heart. Everywhere you go in any institution, there will be bad people. You cannot use the bad some people did to you and generally think that everybody in that place is bad. Amongst the police people, they are bad people. They are indisciplined people. But they are disciplined people. They are nice people. They are intelligent people there. This is wrong. This is unacceptable. People are so brave. You look at an officer, sometimes you jack him up. Sometimes they don't even care. The manner in which that guy it was so terrible. In all fairness, you would have just parked that car, you would have just stopped whatever the situation was. The way we disregard the laws, and when we go to other countries, we are so disciplined. Sometimes the police in other countries will not even talk to us that just their eye, the contact from their eye will tell us what they want to say, and we just bound by it. But we come in our own country with so much disregard. Like I said, but all these things are just foundation on the culture of impunity. People don't pay for their action in this country. We think all of us are interconnected. Oh, we are the same people. All of us from Lofa. Oh, we are your Nimba brother. Oh, that your Pele brother, that your Mandingo brother. These are the things we do here. And people use that to arrogate unto themselves authority the Lord would necessarily not give them to do some of these things. I was wrong. Our condolences to the family of the young officer. I saw his father shed tears. I felt his pain because I've been through that before. I know what it takes. Up to that morning, sometimes he believes it's still just a joke. His son is going to come back. No, he's not going to come back. We need to respect our laws. We need to respect law enforcement officers. Law enforcement officers need to respect us. That is the reason why there is a professional standards division at the LMP. When a police officer transgress, they will deal with you. How do I know? Because there are evidence of instances where they've dealt with numbers of police officers. We need to stop. We really need to stop. And I extend our sympathy too to the leadership of the Liberian National Police, headed by Inspector General Gregory Coleman. You know. Yeah. Let's go. We are a lot of lawyers. I see a lot of lawyers having different, not really different opinion, because I'm not saying it looks like the situation with the Chief Justice has attracted legal luminaries to write, and the debates are continuing. Let me read an opinion that was expressed on Facebook by Councillor Mio Bien. Mio Bien used to be student leader at the Carleton University. I think he went to law school in Australia. He says, upholding the integrity of public office and judicial ethics. In re, he says, the admission of Antonines at law to councillors at law of the Supreme Court, Justice Philip A.Z. Banks III, delivered a powerful opinion underscoring the gravity and ethical demands of the legal profession in Liberia. He emphasized that law, like medicine, holds life-altering consequences for citizens and therefore must be practiced with utmost competence, integrity, and moral discipline. In every constitutional democracy, the exercise of public authorities is bound by the principles of legality, impartiality, and ethical restraint. Public office is not a private privilege. It is a public trust, and its legitimacy depends on the consistent application of law and the avoidance of both actual and perceived conflicts of interest. Liberia's legal framework, including the 1986 Constitution, new judicial law, judicial canons, and judicial canons of Liberia, and the Code of Conduct for public officials and employees, collectively ensuring the doctrine that public officials must refrain from any conduct that compromises institutional integrity or erodes public confidence in governance. These instruments impose affirmative duties on officials to avoid favoritism, nepotism, and undue influence, especially in matters involving appointments, promotion, or recommendations. Neil says, the principle of nemo judex in cassat sua, no one should be a judge in their own cause, extends beyond adjudication to administrative conduct. When a senior judicial officer recommends a close relative for appointment within the judiciary, it triggers a conflict of interest that violates both the spirit and letter of ethical governance. The law does not merely prohibit unlawful outcomes, it prohibits conduct that undermines the appearance of fairness and impartiality. Otherwise, former Chief Justice Francis Kokpo Sr. could have very easily recommended his son, who is far more qualified than William Bese, a second-year law student, for appointment. Former Chief Justice Kokpo exemplified judicial restraint and ethical leadership by refraining from recommending his son, Michael Kokpo, for judicial appointment during his tenure. The issue, Mio says, whether it was legally and ethically appropriate for Chief Justice Yamin Kwekwe Bese to recommend his son for appointment as Associate Magistrate by the President of Liberia. 1. Legal framework governing nepotism and judicial ethics. Code of Conduct for public officials and employees of Liberia. Section 5.1, conflict of interest, defines conflict of interest as any situation where a public official uses their office to influence decisions that benefit themselves or close relative. It's a long piece, but let's go to its conclusion. Judicial canons of Liberia. Canon 1, judges must uphold the independence and integrity of the judiciary. Canon 3, judges must avoid both impropriety and the appearance of impropriety. Canon 5, judges must refrain from favoritism, including nepotism, in all judicial and administrative matters. He goes to the Constitution. He does an analysis. I want to come way down here. Conclusion, he says. Why the president holds the legal authority to appoint magistrates. The Chief Justice's recommendation of his song violates the ethical standards expected of judicial officers. It constitutes a conflict of interest, undermines the judiciary's integrity, and breaches the code of conduct and judicial canons. I am also submitting to you that there are tons of third-year law students, more qualified and experienced, waiting and willing to take on that role. The only reason that young man, William, was recommended by the Chief Justice is because of the blood relationship. It is that simple. Councillor Mio Bien, he says the Chief Justice have violated multiples of laws, including the judicial canons and every other laws right here. This is the OK Money Rush. Thanks to the government of Liberia for the purchase of 15 brand new vehicles for the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency. These are some of the practical steps we've always spoken about. We have always told the government to be intentional in its quest to fight drugs in the country. We are aware that it is a collective responsibility of all of us in the different communities. We have our own roles to play. That is the reason why we've been encouraging community people. If you see a drug cartel in your community, sometimes you don't want to risk everything. Go to the DA and the Liberia National Police and other institutions of the government with technical capacity and all these things. They will move in. So the drug fighting situation in the country is a collective responsibility. I was listening to a brief audio from President Julius Maada Bio of Sierra Leone. He was talking about the drug situation, how sophisticated the cartel is, and all these kinds of things. So it's a collective responsibility of all of us. But government bears the greatest responsibility in its totality. And that is the reason why these practical steps in the form of training more LDA officers and placing them on government's payroll, providing the enabling environment for the LDA to function, making available logistical and other capacity building initiatives is very important in the fight against that dangerous substance. Kudos to the acting leadership and thanks to the government of Liberia and the Minister of Justice, Councillor Osford Tue, for the brand new car. I know probably it's not going to go across the country. Why? Because I know the acting heads will have to get theirs, but I know some of the counties will get the cars. And what that will mean will be that they will be able to respond to drug situation in these counties. What it's going to do is going to boost the morale of the force. That the vehicle itself is already a deterrent, but we commend the government. We encourage the government to do more. Let's train more of these LDA officers. And if it will be appropriate and technically advisable for them to carry arms, or some of them to carry arms, let's do so, because fighting drug is nothing small. Now, what is it about this project? Is it what, in FOIA or what? Who's building it? I think it will be a good thing for the government of Liberia to come with a clear explanation about our projects. It's been people been talking about it for a long period of time. The government needs to come clear. Be clear and be honest about. I say the government because that project is being constructed within the borders of Liberia. The government is aware of the project. So the government needs to come just clear And, help us. If we were ever speculating, just help us to arrest the speculation, the assumptions, and everything. Just help us one time. I want to see a government official mounting the Ministry of Information regular press briefing over there, or in whatever form, and explaining to the country and just giving us a clear picture, because there are too many speculations. Oh, it's an MRU project. Other people say, no. It is not an MRU project. MRU did not break ground here in 2024 to build anything in Foya or in Lofa of that nature. Other people say, no, it's an MR. So the burden is on the government's shoulder. On the rule of evidence, sometimes the lawyer can say the burden of proof rests on the shoulder of the accuser, but I'm told by a lot of lawyers that sometimes the burden can shift. In some cases, the burden can shift. So I think the burden has now been shifted at the government. The government must, because you see, nothing to hide. Run an open government. Let the government just tell us if there's somebody building their private homes, if it is the president's private homes, well, let the government come out and tell us. If the one government official building that place, if it is a company, if it is an organization, if it is the Mano River Union, let the government come to tell us more about it, probably, and how we can reach out to ascertain the facts so that our people are aware. Because when you keep silent, on these kinds of matters, what you're doing is you're just encouraging people to speculate. But the government should be able to be proactive in this one and just tell us what is it about our project. Because I see a lot of photos from it. I see a lot of calls on Facebook. Some people say $10 million. Some people say $15 million. Those are huge monies. An honest government is the government that will say to the people, that project in Foya or in Lofa is this project. A project costs this. This is the person who is implementing the project. In the event the public want to reach out to the person, you can reach out to so and so, contact this pricing, because the project is creating a lot of speculations in the country. My friends, this is the OK Morning Rush. It's on 99.5. 8 o'clock, we'll have some law school students here. Like I said, following a special appeal from Councillor Tiawan Gangolo. They want to come here and talk about, I think, a particular cause that talks about law and politics, something like that. Few of them will be here this morning, up to, I'm sure, 3. And then 9 o'clock, Nimba Senator Nyantoyan will be here. We'll talk about a lot of issues. Of course, AML issue, but also a lot of other issues. 0777 700-995 555-995-995. Good morning.
Good morning, Clarence Johnson.
Good morning, sir. What's your name?
Thank you. Yes, Robert. Popular North Political Slaughter Ibrahimovic. I saw you this morning on the Timor headquarters of the Mali Congo Democratic Change in Toronto.
What's your full name?
My name is Political Slaughter. Robert Political Slaughter. I'm a full name.
Okay.
So thank you. Let me appreciate you. The issue has to do with the guy who lost his life, the Texas driver. While it's true, further, let me extend my sympathy to the national police and extend my sympathy to his family. But I think, people are Clarence, we are winning this situation of police officers trying to enforce the law without careful. I think the police need to be professional. When you go at the academy, they tell you how to engage. All these vehicles, motorcycles, and other things, store. You have lessons. You have your NOPA as a professional security man. For our sake, if someone violates, you can take the lesson and you learn how the person is supposed to be. But for you to get on top of the vehicle and the man, I tell you guys, the big traumatized, you can take the substance and all the things and get in the car and reckless and running. So I think you need to get a maintain. Then you go and you get it before you to on top of the car. It's important.
Do you agree with me that even the school all of us go to or went to, the laws that we're not supposed to do certain things, but sometimes we break the law, right?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
So are you saying, for example, if you break the law in a school, the teacher should hold your hand, break it because you break the law? Or maybe the teacher should take right and bust your eyeball or something like that because you break the law?
So listen now, if I break the trail of the school and I try to escape, the teacher or the principal that can be really behind me all the no, the teacher will know that.
So even assuming to the worst degree, the police officer got over the car. Don't you think it was also a good thing for the driver to even stop? And maybe report the man to professional standard, or stop and tell the man to leave the car. There were other police officers around.
Piso.
I'm listening.
And why you must saying your intentions, your thinking will not be my thinking, will not be other men's thinking. I told you I said the car didn't take substances.
No, I'm asking because you were making a situation to look like even if the driver violated, the police officer had no right to maybe get on top of the car. Probably.
I'm not in no way.
Thank you. Let's not reduce this thing to a dialogue. Thank you. Hello?
Yeah, good morning.
Wow. This line is let's go ahead. I'm trying to increase the volume. Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm hearing.
Okay,
Wow. Yep.
Hello?
You are live, bossman, except that the line is terribly terrible. And so let's take an online call. I'm sure this call from outside the country. Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, man, I call you from Liberia. Sorry, try calling the regular.
Oh, okay, yeah, go ahead. It's okay.
Clarence, my name is Bobby Gibson. I call you from Painsville.
Mm-hmm.
So just imagine the last time I was looking for a card.
Oh wow! You see, that's the danger of calling on the. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah.
I was on the road at Yellow Junction looking for a car to go to work one morning. Then can you imagine this car loader who normally takes the substance was telling me 30 passing on the road that most of the cars taxi drivers are taking the substance too. They had it in the cars.
The local call will keep embarrassing this guy's call. Hello. Hello. Mr. Nyakuna, how are you? You are live. Oh.
Good morning, Clarence.
Good morning. Oh. Good morning.
Yes, this is TC Bole Nyankuna.
TC Bole Nyankuna. All right. I am a fellow at one. I see why. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Clarence, I am really disappointed in the taxi driver. I want to extend my sympathy to the Bracewell family. I mean, the young man was serving this nation and we must honor his memory. I don't think it is okay for people to come call on the radio to justify what the taxi driver did. This is something that is really bad in our society and we must all work together to get rid of it. You cannot kill somebody because they are trying to do their job. And somebody comes on the radio to justify.
Absolutely,
How can you justify taking away a human life?
Thank you,
I feel really bad as a mother.
I know. And this is the society we have. That's why I say all these things have foundation on the culture of impunity. Because sometimes people think they're supposed to do these things and just go away. Hello?
Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Aaron G.V. Cannon, popular new at Chibune, calling from the Chibune Avenue.
Yeah?
Yeah, Clarence, I want to appreciate you the money for the topic, and I want to extend my condolence to the police officer. Clarence, these are things that happen in the country, especially with us from the community security, like the community watch forum.
Okay.
People personally target you because you're working for your country, you're serving your country. And these things must stop. And another thing I want to appreciate the police for what they did yesterday, but I want them to remember the traffic officer that used to stand down there, his picture was there. Let it also make sure that place be a memorial place for him too. The two of them photos can be right there. They were there before somebody took it off. We're not seeing it again. That officer really served this country.
Yeah, I heard a lot about that elderly police officer who died. They say he used to be over there. Hello?
Yeah, good morning, Clara.
Good morning, man.
I shared here yesterday when I saw that video of the young officer. I have been in taxi and I heard taxi driver saying if that police mistake I was hitting that look camera already. I have been in taxi before. And for that young man to die in that form and manner and people calling the radio and try to justify that need no justification. My sympathy to the family, the Bracewell family, and the LMP family.
Yeah.
I felt it yesterday. I really felt it yesterday when I saw that on the video.
Okay, Eddie. Yeah, you know, any parent will feel it. You know, that guy was even strong, very strong to go over there. You know, I mean, that morning when I went to Redemption Hospital, and I was strong when they brought my son's body on the structure. I could just hear his voice in my ear. He used to call me our pa, you know. I could just hear that sound in my ear. I was like, wow, this guy. You know, sometimes when these things don't happen to you, you think it's a joke and they happen to other people. You want to say it the way you want to say it. No police officer is supposed to die simply because he's working for his country. No.
Good morning, Clarence.
Good morning.
Let me say good morning to you and the listening public. My name is Father Bleedy, and this morning I call from the headquarters of the Movement for Progressive Change.
Yeah.
Clarence, what saddened me is that I listened to one young man saying that the police needs to be professional. We are now mourning the death of a very young man at the age of 31. Now, you cannot hastily generalize because an incident in the police happened and maybe they behave in a way that you say the police is not, in general, is not professional. We must all, despite our political background, despite our ethnic association, we must all sympathize or empathize with the situation involved. For me, I think the issue of police brutality, people brutalizing the police in recent times is on the increase. I'm condemning it as a member of the Movement of Progressive Change. I believe this issue, there should be more awareness as it relates to the brutality against police. And I want to say sorry to the family. In the Liberian, we are like to say no.
Yeah, you know, you're normal, man. You're normal, yeah. Normal. Hello?
Good morning, Clarence. How are you?
Good morning, my brother.
Yeah, my name is Steve Kennedy. A phone for the baby trouble. Clarence, hearing a potential young man die.
I know, Steve. You're in my shoes, my brother.
I don't like to think about it. The first part can be too high for me. But all I want to say, sorry to the bereaved family. Let me put it right there. No one should die in serving that country.
Exactly, man.
Exactly. Saving life.
Exactly.
But when it's happening, we should be having the sense of direction to say we are sorry to the bereaved family. Every Liberian should pass over there to lay a flower.
Yeah,
that
Steve,
is our response. Every Liberian should pass on the Japanese freeway and lay a flower. And I will begin my own this morning to pass there and lay a flower.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Let's hear you here. Hello?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, my name is Tomo F. Joseph, calling from Johnson Road, Palatan District number 2.
Okay.
Yeah, finally, my condolences to the bereaved family concerning our friend and brother, what happened to him. So bad for the 30 driver to behave that type of way or not good. You know, sometimes it's we the surveillance, we're getting so brave. Well, let me put myself in that shoe. Yeah, we're getting so brave. I'm a motorcyclist. I can see what our friend and brother then can do to the police. It's not covered. If the police say they are not be able to protect the country, do you think that something bad will happen in the nation? Because I can remember more often whenever the area police now traffic directions, there can be no good understanding. So why will you see a police officer to stop you and you can't stop? That is not called for. I think we got to be able to change our mentality. about our security.
Okay, my brother. Thank you.
We got to be able to respect them. They are our security servant.
Thank you. Let's go here. Let's take a few more calls and then we'll take a song with our guests. Hello.
Good morning, Clarence.
Yeah.
My name is Ishmael Plomo. I join you from Painesville.
Ishmael, let's hear you now.
Yes. So I want to talk a little bit about the nepotism claim about the Chief Justice. First of all, we condemn wholeheartedly any resemblance of nepotism in the judiciary. But Clarence, there's a backdrop here that I want you to be conscious of.
Let's go ahead.
So, 2 weeks ago, the Chief Justice, his first week in office, commissioned a prudential audit of the entire judiciary, which, according to the CSA, is going to affect. The finding says that 33% of the people who work in the sector have prudential issues. So that's already acrimony by itself. When you come to the place and you have 33% of the staff there who's going to leave, either lose a job or get some kind of, demotion, it's going to cause problem. So I think why we condemn the action of the Chief Justice, all the other acrimony you see between the Chief Justice and George Sami and all the other people in the judiciary could possibly stem from these reforms. And we saw the same thing here with Konati Kopa when he started.
But Ishmael, no, this one, no, I would disagree with you. This one is now a rumor. It has nothing to do with somebody lying on somebody. The trial judges raised an issue that some of the people who were appointed are non-lawyers. That is the truth. The Chief Justice did not deny. He said, yes, my son is a non-lawyer, but he in a law school. That also is true. So it's quite different from credential audit and going after people because somebody is initiating. I said thanks to the Chief Justice, and by the matter of fact, I like some of the policy issues he talked about. Judges going to work on time. He will institute a lot of committee to ensure, everybody, will honor. I mean, everybody will work, but they won't. It got absolute. Nobody is accusing the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice said yes. I recommended my son. Nothing wrong with that. There's no law that says that a non-lawyer cannot be a stipendary magistrate. Then the code of conduct talks about nepotism. So I think it's quite different from that whole idea about because he has initiated an audit of the judiciary, so maybe people are after him. I don't see it that way.
Well, I said from the beginning that they condemn that aspect. Son coming into government at the first 2 weeks in office is completely wrong. Don't get me wrong, Clarence. But I'm saying there's semblance between what we saw with Konati Kofa here when he initiated an audit of the house and everybody went against him because it was going to cause problem for the colleagues. So don't be surprised, Clarence, that some of the statements we hear between George Sami, for instance, and the statements were kind of harsh. Clearly that there is some bad blood between these people because of some of the reforms.
I mean, that's what I said. I said the letter from the trial judges and the subsequent response from the Chief Justice, if care is not taken, in the legal profession, I know they still got some elders around. They still have elders around. But if care is not taken, it will go into something else. But I don't want to agree with people who will want to think that because the Chief Justice is trying to initiate, all of us should have these processes. I mean, come on, that is the judiciary. You can't have people who are not qualified in positions where qualified people are supposed to be occupying. The Chief Justice needs to weed them up. For me, it should have nothing to do with this issue about nepotism or recommending his son. Look, had the Chief Justice actually known that there was a provision in the code of conduct that talks about this, I'm not sure he would have done it. Probably it slipped his mind because he was so authoritative when he said, if you find any law, anywhere, that says that my action to recommend my son is in violation of any law, I will resign. He spoke as passionate and authoritative as he spoke. Probably he was thinking about the Constitution, maybe, and the judicial canon, maybe, and there is no law that says that a non-law school graduate cannot be an associate magistrate. Probably those are the ones you were thinking about when you were saying, I will resign. Maybe he did not think about a code of conduct and the provision of nepotism that clearly defines what nepotism, what constitutes nepotism, and the penalty thereof. I'm not sure the Chief Justice, knew about that. How he known, nobody would want to take that kind of risk. Okay, let's take a break. We come back here two persons, Jacob Toll and Edwin family. Their family boy come here again. They will join us very shortly. I see something on Facebook that says it is a response from the Mano River Union about the project in Foya, but I think there are many ways some of us have to reach out. We try to reach out to the MRU Secretariat to find out what the issues are. It shouldn't be that difficult.
Showing allegiance, showing loyalty to this nation, Liberia. The red on the flag stands for bravery. The white on the flag stands for purity. The star is for republic. The blue sea is for black people. We know Liberia is our home. The Declaration of Independence was signed in 1847. 11 nations of people, we are known as First Republic. The Lone Star shining evermore. The flag of Liberia is flying all the time. Showing allegiance, showing loyalty to this nation, Liberia. If my people who are called by money will humble themselves and seek my face, I will rise and heal their nation.
The Ganta Accord.
Will rise. Nations will come to your rising. I prophesy. Kingdom will come to your light. Together, let's keep your peace. Cause in unity we will build our nation. Arise, Liberia, arise. Arise and take your place. Whatever the locals are eating, arise and take your place. The flag of Liberia is flying on. It's flying all the time. Showing allegiance, showing loyalty to this nation, Liberia, in union, concession. It's flying all the time. Showing loyalty to this nation, in union.
We'll talk about issues of governance, separation of power. What does the law say about that? What does it mean? Tenure position, presidential pardon, presidential immunity, and a lot of other issues. Accountability for former presidents and legislative immunity. These law school students are here. They will introduce themselves and then we'll move on. Thanks to Councillor Tiawan Gunglo, who is a lecturer at the law school, for making this possible right here. We have our guests right here now. We'll go straight into discussion. We'll begin from our far right. Just introduce yourself, sir.
Good morning, Piso, and good morning to your listening audience. My name is Edwin Ibrahim Fambule, a senior student at the Louis Arthur School of Law.
And my name is Jacob Gito, a senior student at the Louis Arthur School of Law.
Both of them senior students at the Arthur Grand School of Law. Family, did I hear that generally, how's the law school, by the way?
Well, the law school is great, and then again is faced with the same challenges that the rest of the university is faced with, because once the other people are not in school, certainly the law school is also shut down. But as it is, I think with the circular coming from the faculty association, we should be resuming classes very soon.
Okay. To?
Yes, sir. Basically, law school is okay. From time is immemorial, the university has always been dark. So, for those of us let's say, graduated and maybe tasted the knowledge from the University of Liberia are quite aware that it's a tradition. So situation, whenever it comes about, we know that eventually it's going to end and we'll resume classes. But even though there's a challenge along the way, there's a delay, but it's for me, I tend it to be a culture at the University of Liberia since its inception.
Okay, we have a third guest, and so she will introduce herself. Madam, how are you? You want to just elevate the mark so you can be stressing yourself, yeah?
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Clarence. Good morning, OKFM family. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, Prof. Gonglo. I know you are listening. Good morning to all Liberians and everyone else in Liberia. Thank you. So, my name is Mayade Sharif, and I'm a senior law student of the Louis Arthur Grant School of Law.
The chair of all chairs. Okay, thank you. Both, I mean, all of them have introduced themselves, and they're all senior students of the Arthur Grant School. I don't know, it is a scene we say at the university, we say graduating seniors or what? Family?
Well, it depends the nomenclature that you want to put to it also, but I think we're all graduating senior students in the studio.
Okay, Maya always wanted to be a diploma, but because I know that. But anyway, she can still do diplomacy. She's been very passionate about diplomacy.
That's right.
I'm so proud of Maya.
Thank you, thank
come
you,
from
Clarence.
way back. I know her quest for education, and I'm so happy to see her in law at the law school. Now, let's talk about
Likewise.
general governance issues. I know you've come here. We'll talk about different issues, and each of you probably will talk about it from your different perspectives. But did I hear that there is a new course at the law school? Did you do that, or it just come to being because you're here now called law and politics, or something like that, law and governance, something like that?
Yes, so...
Go ahead. I don't know who's going to start.
Okay, so I will start. You all know my name already. And we are students of the Louis Arthur Grant School of Law. And the course, we are here today to discuss the subject law and politics with respect to governance. And we're going to focus on a number of topics relating to law and politics, including separation of powers, presidential immunity, legislative immunity, authority of former presidents, or accountability of former presidents, presidential pardon, etc. So, yes, we are past students of the course Law and Politics, taught by our learned Associate Professor, Councillor Tiawan Sei Gonglo. As we all know, he's so passionate about teaching, especially teaching law. So it has been great, being under his voice, teaching us law and politics. So, yes.
Okay.
Basically, we want to lay the premises with respect to law and politics. First of all, we must understand what the subject means. So we start from law. Has the Supreme Court stated in the case then Speaker Kofa versus then purported Speaker Rachel Kuhn, Deputy Speaker Fowler, and all, that law is the tool with binding effect, while politics is the activities associated with governance, of course, governance of states, depending on the usage of law in order to realize its objectives. So it is a settled principle that law and politics go side by side. They are intertwined. So, of course, we're here to discuss the subject.
Okay. Thank you. So I will be specific. Ask specific questions, and then we'll talk about it. And I will want us to begin with separation of power, since we're talking about law and politics in this nature. And I will ask some specific questions, like I said. Now, too many times, but what we have, and this question is in the context of separation of power. What we have in this country is so difficult sometimes to understand. From the last couple of months or 2 weeks, just the other day I had a representative here. There's a big debate here now. Some of the lawmakers are saying, 2024 we received the money to do our legislative project. This other money here in 2025, we didn't get it. Other people say, no, we got it. Other people say, no, because I'm from the majority, they didn't give it to me. In the context of separation of power, my question to each of you is, should members of the legislature directly manage or spend public money through legislative projects, or is that supposed to be the function of another branch of government? Does it undermine any provision of our law?
Yes, it does. And I think to that question, I would say the legislature has no dealings in executing projects within our constitution. Now, we have a unitary state that calls for 3 separate coordinated branches of the government. Mm-hmm. The role of the legislature is basically to make law, representation, and oversight. Now, the budget itself is a law, so you cannot be the one passing the law and also going into that law to execute, projects. The resources of the state is executed by the executive branch of government. So all of those things, again, these are some of the conflict that we have in, right? Where you have a lawmaker wants to, be the one to appropriate resources into the national budget, and they all wants to put money into their specific district, and then they want to be the one to execute this project. It's totally wrong. That goes against the governance of the separation of power.
Let's hear you. So,
okay,
let's hear your sir.
Thank you, Clarence. As per our Constitution, Article 3 clearly spells out that there's a separation of power. That means that the legislature has textually vested right to make law, appropriation, declare war, and the rest of it. The judiciary is there to interpret the law, and then the executive is there to enforce the law. So an attempt for a member of any of those branches to come and to say, okay, I want to do this, is a usurpation of power of that particular branch of government. On the basis of that, the law will not honor that. In fact, it's an infringement, it's a kind of breach, of the law. So basically, sometimes that's why we tend to be law and politics. People tend to, maybe based on the pressure from their constituency or maybe from their counties and all that stuff like that, they sometimes rush to these kind of things and then they rush into power, wrong, let's say mistakes and all that stuff like that. But the fact of the matter is that Article 2 of our Constitution is very clear, that the law is the supreme and fundamental law of our country. So if the law says, as per Article 3, that the legislature has the responsibility to make law, and then a member of the legislature comes out to say, okay, I want to do this, means that the function that belongs to the executive, obviously you're breaching the Constitution. The same applies to the executive. If the executive comes out to do something that relates to, like say, lawmaking, you also violating the Constitution. And there's a reason why Article 3 makes it very clear. With respect to, we spoke to my colleagues and said, okay, whether the course, law and politics, a new one, fairly, it's just a new, not really a new, but it's been around for a little while now. But the faculty of the Louis Arthur Grant School of Law thought it was, as part of their creativity, considering the training issue in terms of politics and law, they decided to school law students, emerging lawyers, to understand the intricacies involved into politics, and then the intersection, and then the different, at which point do they disagree, and at which point do they come around. So those are some of the things. So as emerging lawyer, whenever an issue of law appears before you, an issue of politics appears before you, you would have understood from that particular study you have done at the Grant School of Law that I think this one is a political question. I think this one is a justiciable question that the court can answer. Mind you, Clarence, political questions are not for the court, are for politicians to decide on the basis of reconciliation and conciliation and compromise. Law are for the court to decide. The court interprets that and then declare rights as per let's say, a petition for declaratory judgment after our constitution. So to zero on this is that Article 2 makes our constitution, the 1986 constitution, as a supreme and fundamental law of our country.
Mayale, let's hear you. And I don't know, sometimes, don't these people know these things? What baffles me sometimes is that they're lawyers, even at the legislature. Let's hear you, Mayale.
That's right. So in addition to what my colleagues have said, the law is simple. As Article 3 of the Constitution, provides for the separation of powers, of course, with coordination, amongst the three branches of government. Article 34 also provides for what the lawmakers are expected to do, and that is lawmaking, approving budgets, making bills and all of that, among others. So it's simple. If the legislature is to make laws and approve budget, and the executive, manages the budget and spends, public funds, let it be as the law provides. Anything other than that, it would be, it would be overriding the functions of the executive or the functions of the legislature, thereby getting into the executive functions, by the legislature. So to curtail the negative side of politics in this case, the best the legislature can do is to do as provided by the Constitution, and that is to make laws, approve budgets and all of that, and of course have the oversight responsibility, holding the executive feet to the fire, that is as to the accountability of how public funds are expended. So it's that simple. If the legislature tends to be the one now, like the lawmakers being managing projects, legislative projects and all of that, that is actually an, overall, riding of the functions of the executive.
Okay. So we'll also start with you. And, I listen to all of you. Another thing that is prevalent is this debate about tenure position. As I speak, most of these cases are in court when different governments take over the way people are treated in tenure positions. Sometimes they kind of like, no, let's let it go. Some people challenge in court, but I will ask the question and I want you to consider a particular word. Now, if an executive official holds a position protected by tenure under our laws, I want to know from your perspective whether the president will still have the authority to remove that official at will. Keyword, at will.
Well, Clarence, this whole issue of tenure position has become a very cardinal and important point now about the politics. And I think this is where law and politics also comes in, as a very important tools, because many of us outside of the subject matter of law and politics, we would have gone deeper into understanding how this whole thing works. Don't get it wrong. The executive has a constitutional power given to the president to appoint, to dismiss at will or so. But, in order to have some kind of oversight and coordination on the activities of certain power status of government, the law itself creates that there's some level of checks and balance on the executive itself. Now, the Constitution also gave the legislature right to make laws. So they can come out to make law and say, look, if Mr. X is serving in this position and Mr. X is performing a quasi-judicial or a quasi-legislative function, then, Mr. Executive, you cannot just move them at will. There should be a cause why they should be removed from office. And it's not unique to Liberia. As we speak right now, in the greatest democracy in the world, is a major political debate there. You know the issue of the Federal Reserve Chairman, the co-chairman, where the president, President Trump is trying
to... central bank governor.
The central bank governor, where President Trump is trying to get out of office. And there are also, cited cases, even in our own jurisdiction and also in the United States that clearly speaks to that particular limitation of presidential authority to remove those kind of people functioning in our role that performing quasi-judicial or quasi-legislative functions. So therefore, that in itself limit the president's power to just remove that kind of persons at will. Take for example the central bank. Like we said, you know, they make policies to govern commercial banks, and then, you know, insurance companies and other stuff. You know, take for example the LTA. They make regulations to govern the affairs of, you know, the telecom sector, the radio, and all this stuff. So people playing those roles have some kind of statutory protection that protect them from just being removed because the president doesn't like you or the president don't, you know, to do. So yes, the president has some level of limitation in those kind of aspects.
Mayale, we'll listen to you, then we'll go to talk. Mayale, let's listen to you. Especially, okay, in the event we're removing the at will thing, right? Most of the time for the tenure position, the law will provide that the person can be removed for cause. And sometimes I'm asking myself, who determines what that cause is? Is it like the contempt power that is at the discretion of the judge? Who determines what the cause is? So if I'm the president of the country and my ally is in a tenure position, she did something, and I am supposed to determine what cause I said or not anything. Can I mean, I'm just thinking about those critical things.
So with respect to tenure positions are created by legislation. All right? So the fact that they are created by legislation means that they are statutory laws, right? Which should be respected. So once a commission or an entity is created by legislation and the provisions, there are statutory languages as to the cause or causes of removal, these causes must be followed. The tenure position, the previous question was whether or not the president can remove
at will
an official at will from tenure position, and the answer is no. This is because, for instance, like the central bank, for instance, we agree that the president has the appointing power to appoint the governor of the bank, right? But the president cannot remove the central bank governor at will. It has to be based on the statutory language provided. Yes. And also, we all know that for such tenure position, you have defined period of time as to the service. And so these positions are delicate. They are delicate because they have judicial, quasi-judicial, authority to perform. They perform quasi-legislative function, and they perform quasi-judicial functions. That is, they make laws. They make regulations. Central Bank, for instance, regulates the banking institutions and non-banking institutions such as insurance companies, right? And so they regulate, they make rules. They as well hear cases.
Okay,
hence the function. So the president cannot remove such, an official at will.
Okay, so let's get to you, and then I'll come back to the table so that we'll become more practical with particular example to the Central Bank of Liberia. For example, if like it was after an audit report, the governor is implicated and the president suspend or remove, is that what we're supposed to call for a cause, or we're supposed to allow due process, which is supposed to be that process that he has before he condemns? I'm just still thinking. Let's hear you too.
Started by saying, Clarence, that you question also say, okay, whether the executive or the president can remove member of the executive who is tenurized. I would like to firstly begin by saying that no member of the executive that is tenurized can be removed, from his or office by the president. And that person is not, in fact, not part of the executive. The essence of tenure position is for you to create independence and professionalism. So it means that those people who occupy tenure position are not part of the wing or are not there to dance with the wing and caprices of the executive. It means that they are independent as per Article 89, that there should be autonomous agency at the entire particular period of time where an individual can serve. So it means that if the person comes in conflict with the law, the statute itself that creates that particular institution has a way of putting that person out. The first thing the person must be accorded due process, which is also in Article 20 of our Constitution, because nobody should be deprived of right whenever the person has not been heard. And there are elements under our law that calls for due process and all those things like that. So the thing is that turning position, the secret behind is that turning position are meant for independence, are meant for professionalism. So take for example the National Independent Commission on Human Rights. Just by the mention of the independence, it means that your focus is that you are not there to answer to the executive to the extent that the executive will dictate to your performance and other stuff. I give you one instance that the Governance Commission of recent when President Bouakai came to power, Councilor, now he's a councilor now, Garrison Yelu, and the rest of the guys were in fact, while they were occupying the position, the president appointed new persons to occupy the position, and they went to court and prayed for a writ of prohibition on grounds that in fact their rights are being be injured as a result of that particular appointment. The executive argued that by appointing these people does not mean that we are moving them from the power from the position, and the court said no. For the fact that you make an appointment, in these people's stead, obviously it means that you already violated the law. So on the basis that the court ruled in favor of Garrison and the rest of the people that these people occupy internal position and they are there for a particular period of time. If for any other reason that they are to be removed, if you found any cause, and that cause, let me just say the cause is spelled out in the statute that create those institutions. So say for example the Governance Commission now clearly specify that you are not there to get involved into politics. So if you get involved into politics, it means that institutionally it should be questioned and then thereby be forwarded to the necessary institution for you to be removed. So it is not the right, it is not the power of the president or the executive to remove these people maybe for political reason. And therefore we say that the law is supreme when it comes to politics, because if the law can tell the president, hey, even though the executive power, you wield all the executive power, but for you cannot do this. It means that the law is so powerful. The law can call anybody in our country to vote to say, oh, no, you are violating the person's right, and on the basis of that you're going to be punished or you cannot do that.
Okay, Edwin, before you come in, Mayala, you want to say something? I want to say we have a fourth guest.
Of course, yeah. So in addition to that, let's just cut it short, to call a spade a spade. These positions are created for check and balances. All right, the legislature is there to ensure that there's independence of such commissions to ensure check and balances. Hence, the provision that the president cannot, remove such official at will. However, we have our fourth
guest. Yeah, let's talk to him.
Thanks, Clarence. And my name is Joshua Quelloa. I'm a part of the team, so sorry for coming late.
Joshua, a long time, man.
I know. It's been long, Clarence.
Yeah.
It's great to see you.
Yeah, me too, man. It's been a very long time. Yeah, so what's your introduction? How do you come in the discussion? Yeah.
So I've been following while I was driving and as it relates to tenure. So the first thing we have to understand that these entities or commission that are established by law. There are statutes that govern these entities' establishment. And if the statute states that in order, for example, I heard my colleague discuss the issue of the central bank, right? And the executive governor, for example, and that it was a statute, the CBS Act was created, was amended and restated in 2020, right? And in that act, it's clearly stated the cause for which an executive governor or deputy can be removed for cause. And some of the causes include gross breach of duty, in office, criminal conviction, or felony. Again, right? If any cause is established, again, the removal must be done by the Senate. So meaning it has to follow an impeachment process, right? The lower house will have to file a bill of impeachment, and that bill of impeachment will have to be tried by the Senate. And once the governor is convicted, before the governor is removed. So again, as long as a commission, for example, the CBO, that act states that for a governor to be removed, it has to be for cause. The president cannot just remove a governor anytime. You just can't do it because it's that statute that governs that commission or entity So it happens in the case of LTA, in the case of Library Revenue Agency, for example, LRA. So you have all of these entities that have been established by statute created by the legislature. So the president has to follow it.
Okay, Family, you wanted to come in?
You know, just to start from where he ends, and I think Kevin, like we say, that's the beauty of our democracy that talks about the issue of the various separations, the three branches of the government or so, you know, and he clearly stated that once the person is performing a fiduciary duty given to them by the statute itself clearly explain to what extent that constitute that breach, wherein the executive now can say, okay, I think based on X, Y, Z, then we have to follow. So, and also there is an established case that says that if the president does not have the power to remove, he also does not have that power to suspend. Yes. So definitely, and it has become a norm in our country where the president says, okay, boy, if I can remove, then I would just suspend them and then appoint other people in their stand. And then they just linger. And then at the end of the day, they have to now call those people in the back to compromise and say, look, you know what? Just take this, leave it, and go forward. But if we have to follow the law, we have to make sure that these things are clearly followed as laid down by these statutes that actually create these entities.
Okay, we have Mayade, you wanted to come in?
Right. So
okay.
Just to add up to what he said, to be specific, that when you look at the case involving the NDPL and then Senate Pro Tempore Nyenabu, the Supreme Court clearly stated, the Supreme Court said that if you cannot remove, you cannot suspend. Because suspension, the Supreme Court went further to even define suspension. Suspension means temporary removal. So let it be clear that in any case you cannot remove, you cannot suspend. Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to presidential pardon. The 1986 Constitution of Liberia gives the president the power to grant clemency. You know, many times you see the president goes to the central prison, maybe most of the time it is done either on the president's birthday or July 26 or December 25, Christmas Day. The president goes to presidential, prison, or sometimes the Ministry of Justice through the relevant institution will just give the president a listen to release for people he will pardon. Now, I care to understand from you, that kind of constitutional authority, is it unlimited? Are there legal and constitutional boundaries to that power? Is there something the president cannot do, or it is just as the will and pleasure of the president to pardon?
Okay, so since I'm coming, let me ease off on my colleagues and start the ball rolling with that. So the presidential power is broad, but it's not unlimited. And
it's not unlimited.
It's not unlimited. And I just want to first reference the section of the Constitution that provides the issue of presidential power. I can read that quickly, and it's Article 59. And it says that the president may remit any public forfeiture and penalties, suspend any fines and sentences, grant reprieves and pardon, and restore civil rights after conviction for all public offenses except impeachment. So meaning the president cannot pardon any impeachment offense. Once it has to do with impeachment, the president cannot pardon that. But any other public offense, the Constitution has given the president that authority to pardon. So in the case, and we talk public offense, you talk about the issue of rape, the issue of murder, the issue of arson, whatever. The president has that authority because it's enshrined under Article 59 of the Constitution. I gave the president that power. But it's not unlimited because in cases of impeachment, the president cannot pardon.
Meaning the president cannot reappoint an impeached official. An already impeached official, you can say, I pardon you.
No, he can. He cannot. He cannot.
Yeah, so,
go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So, Clarence, the responsibility or the authority to pardon somebody who has come in conflict with the law does not restrict the president, to a certain extent to say, okay, on Christmas Day you come and do it, on my birthday you come and do it, on this part. Besides the constitution provision that says impeachment. So it means that the president now, for example, President Boakai can walk to the central prison and say, okay, hey, Mr. X, you are pardoned for this. For that is broad. So it means that the president, again, coming from the UN General Assembly, says, okay, I'm driving to the...
He can be happy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to the place. I think this person deserves a certain level of, as a restoration of civil rights and all that stuff like that. With that, there's no, there's a restriction on the president, So a president does that at that particular time, the way he or she feels, because the Constitution gives the president that responsibility to do, except in the case of impeachment. And whenever the law says, it means that this particular one, you can do all of this one, you cannot do the other one here. So when it comes to impeachment, no, the president is not allowed to do such thing like that. The rest of the thing, the president takes care of them, and then we move on.
Yeah, so Clarence, just to add up to what he said, this whole issue of pardon, sometimes the debate comes around the issue of the separation of power. Take, for example, if there is a legislative contempt, right? Maybe a minister or somebody is charged by the legislature for contempt, and then the debate starts. Does the president power reach that level? Of course, yes. The Constitution is clear. Even if it's a judicial contempt, the president can also pardon that particular individual that is being held. There is a famous case in the United States called Cusini v. The U.S. Congress, where this guy, was charged for contempt of, the Congress, and then at the end of the day, the president actually pardoned him, and that case went up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, look, the presidential power to pardon is broad. The only limitation is that if it's an impeachment, then the president is limited. So therefore, the president has a broader power to pardon anyone. Once the person is convicted, they've gone through the process of the judicial, they being given due process, they've gone to XYZ, the president has a right to pardon.
Okay, on this one we end on the presidential immunity. And we'll start with Mayale, then we'll go around the table, and then we end. Too many times people are conflicted. People are confused when it comes to presidential immunity, especially a sitting president while in office. I care to know from you, what exactly does the doctrine of presidential immunity says when it comes to protecting a sitting president from civil or criminal proceedings while in office?
The Constitution provides, Article 61 of the Constitution, of course, 1986 Constitution has amended, provides for the immunity of the president. The president is immune as president of the Republic of Liberia for as long as he's in power and he operates within the scope of his authority, of his duty. All right? Mm-hmm. The president, except impeached, is immune. And this is because I'm sure the intent of the freeman of the law, was in a way to attach this honor, to the position. The presidency happens to be the highest seat of the land. And so you wouldn't want to have your president arrested or being sued here and there, for petty things. Except where if the president, has abused power, if the president is corrupt, if the president does not respect the rule of law, the legislature is there. The legislature is there to impeach the president through the, lawful proceedings. So until the president is impeached by the legislature, legally, the president is immune, even after office. But the president must operate always within the scope of his authority, his or her authority. Let that be clear.
So, Clarence, let me buttress my colleague's effort. I say she spoke very well. We have two famous cases, and I'm sure you are aware of the Charles Judy Bryan case and the older one, which is the Charles D. King case. I want to start with the Judy Bryan case. We all came to where we are today as Liberians after the Civil War. Bryan and the rest of the folks came to power. He being named as the chairman of the National Transitional Assembly and as head of state. So upon expiration of the term by the Accra Peace Accord, he was claiming presidential immunity. that he was a president. In fact, prior to it, the NTLA, which is the National Transitional Assembly, passed a law that says that he should account for his stewardship at the time in office and then for subsequent prosecution and all that stuff. So after that, when he went to court, when the case was filed for him to be prosecuted, he prayed for a writ of prohibition, claiming presidential immunity under Article 61 of the Constitution. And then the court said, no, you are not the way it should be. You are not elected. You came to power through an extra constitutional arrangement. In fact, from the 13 chapters that we have and the 97 articles we have in the 1986 Constitution, there's nothing there that they call chairman in our Constitution. The Constitution clearly spells out president. So you are not president. In fact, there's a resolution 002, that will pass out. You should be submitted to accountability and subsequent prosecution. So you cannot be the one to say you're claiming presidential immunity. So Brian was guilty of economic sabotage. Let me move forward to Charles D.V. King. D.V. King, as president of Liberia, there was the issue of forced labor. Liberians being taken to the famous Spanish Fernando Po, where they were involved into let's say plantation, working on the Spanish plantation and all that stuff. The King was accused of helping those that were involved into such acts. So they charged him as accessory before the fact. That means he helped the people to to carry on the forced labor and all that stuff. So when the international committee, we call the Christie Committee, conducted an investigation and then found King to be probable, King then was asked to resign. But prior to his resignation, the legislature started a proceeding for him to be impeached, and he quickly resigned, and he resigned as president. In Sino, the folks in Sino instituted legal action for him to be prosecuted. King went to the Supreme Court, prayed for a writ of prohibition that, Lord, I'm covered with presidential immunity. You cannot prosecute me because I'm a president. I served the country for close to 9 years and all that stuff. And the court said, yes. For you to prosecute King must firstly be impeached from office by the legislature before you can prosecute him. So, Clarence, that's presidential immunity we're talking about, that you as a president, you claim. Once you are not impeached by the legislature, obviously you cannot be prosecuted. You can commit the greatest crime in Liberia. You cannot be prosecuted.
So, Clarence, just to add to my colleagues, Article 61 clearly lays the basis for the provision of presidential immunity that the president enjoyed, and that is for a sitting president.
Sitting president.
A sitting president. And again, we have to say, I know people sometimes say, okay, fine, since the president has immunity, the president can do whatever he or she wants to do and go without anything happening. That is not the case, because also there are provisions in the Constitution that provides the national legislature with the responsibility of putting the president in check. So if during the presidency of an individual, he or she commits an act that is contrary to the oath of office, Articles 43 and 62 gave the national legislature the power to bring the president to check. So that is why it is very important that the national legislature needs to do her job. Because if the president, during his or her tenure, does an act that is criminal in nature, is alleged, right? And it is not brought to book, the process is the lower house must impeach the president. The president, then that impeachment must go to the Senate must try it. If the president is found guilty and convicted, the president is removed from office. Once the president is removed from office, then he or she can be tried for acts done while in office. So again, let us be clear that people should really understand the entire issue.
So the fact that you cannot be prosecuted while in office doesn't negate the fact that you can be prosecuted for that hour when you are out of office.
Yeah. So you have
when you are impeached.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, when you are impeached. So it's clear.
Yes, when you are impeached, then you can be tried. But if that process did not occur, like he mentioned in the Charles D.B. King issue, right?
Charles D.B. King.
I mean, he said once he wasn't impeached, nobody could try him. So that whole stuff that came from the indictment that came from the Sino court could not lie because he wasn't impeached.
Ms. Sharif? Yeah?
Yes, just to add up, Article 61 is one of the most important articles in our Constitution that gave a broader
61,
immunity.
you say?
Yes, 61. And the reason for that, because the executive power within our constitution is invested in one individual.
It talks
who
about
happens to
immunity
be
of the president.
Yes.
The president shall,
Yeah.
it's a matter of musts, be immune from any suits, actions, or proceedings, judicial or otherwise, and from arrest, detention, or other actions on account of any act done by him while president of Liberia, pursuant to any provision of this constitution or any other laws of the republic. The president shall not, however, be immune from prosecution upon removal from office for the commission of any criminal act done while president
of the republic.
That's Article 4.
Yes.
Or while
Yes.
president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, because the executive authority is in an individual, so therefore the law makes it way to be able to protect that individual from any proceeding. But in the minds of the framers of the Constitution, they also say, okay, yes, we give you all of this right, but hey, in Article 62, if you go against the law in certain way, then the legislature now is empowered to start a proceeding within the lower house, which is the bill of impeachment. And then once that process is done, it goes to the Senate. That's where the due process come in, where you are tried and then you are removed from office. So it is indeed a very cardinal point. And there's a reason why I'm saying that this is one of the most important articles in our Constitution that needs to be critically looked at. Everywhere in the world now, you see the legislature is being too friendly with the executive. That's not only in Liberia. You see any new political party that comes to power, the fighting for the leadership of the legislature. I've not seen in my lifetime where a sitting president in any democracy has been impeached or removed from office. I've not seen that.
There have been several attempts.
There have been attempts, but then then again it gets difficult. And the reason for that, the executive is powerful. The executive has two powers, the coercive power and the power of the purse. They control the natural resources or so. So if we are not electing people in the legislature that has principles, that actually will say, look, I think we need to stand our ground. If this person breached the law, we need to take action against this president. At the end of the day, we're going to have leaders that will take over the helm of power. They will do whatever they want to do, and they leave from office and go with impunity. So we have to be very careful as to how we,
And I agree with him, but Clarence, let's also understand that the impeachment process starts from the national legislature, right?
the House.
And you know that these people represent political interests. So if a president comes from a party that has representatives,
and that's why it's difficult.
That's what is difficult.
Even
very, very
impeachment of a certain lawmaker will have to be endorsed by the legislature.
And
you want the man, but the man said gotta agree.
He has to agree.
And
he or she will have the lobby. Remember? So it's very, very.
And sometimes the thing we can't move the man. It's gonna be a bad precedent. Because every day they will be moving on.
I think differently.
Okay.
I think differently.
I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it takes courageous men and women in the House of Legislature. It takes courageous men and women because we see. Right now, for the sake of time, we can, explain all of what has been happening. Right. So I'm conscious about time. So the president, in some cases, we have heard the executive violating the rule of law at some point, right? Committing impeachable offenses. And so it takes the legislature to actually wake up and ensure that the executive feet is here to the fire.
I think all of us are saying the same thing.
You are saying it's difficult. You are saying it's difficult.
It's difficult in our political context because many a time people say the party mandate, the party power is supreme. So sometimes the individual lawmaker, in as much as the person might be an integrity, another thing they will tell you, they say at the legislature that normal game.
Yeah,
so Mayale could be the only integrity president of the legislature, but one vote not going to do anything.
So Clarence, this is what we said to you from the beginning of our discussion that the law is supreme. So it does not have to be that because Jacob is part of the legislature. In fact, he has to agree before we move. Then it means that we're trying to honor the law. So the law is supreme means that even if a member of the legislature comes in conflict with the law, the person should be impeached. Once
but the law is supreme, but that supremacy in the law comes with additional processes. So at the legislature, the law is supreme, but they need to have majority vote.
Yeah, you need to have majority vote.
But you had it. That's the political side of it, right? And when it comes to law and politics, of course, the law prevails. So
you see, there are two things we're talking here.
Like we said,
when it comes to law and politics, in the context of the law at the court, the law prevails. When it comes to law and politics, I come in. When it comes to law and politics, in the context of politics at the legislature, the guy say politics prevail. I'll be saying it.
For the interest of the state,
I mean, you can have all your disagreements, but our most recent political history have been clear that, for example, the Speaker Kofa removal thing. What the people used to say, all our court you're talking about not lawyer, yet a political ground. And what they used to say.
So what happened at the end of the day?
The court was clear on its position. So the law
still prevails.
The law still prevails, regardless of the politics that are put around. So we're just saying, regardless of normal game, regardless of politics, but the law is supreme over politics.
The law is supposed to be supreme. It will always be supreme.
The law is supreme. Not the law is supposed to be supreme. The law is supreme.
No, the law. I mean, I'm speaking in context.
Yeah.
The law is supreme.
Yeah.
I'm saying that supremacy depends on how the process is.
But again, Clarence, who makes the law? I mean,
all of us.
The very politicians, right? The very politicians. So they should be able to uphold the law because, I mean, the law regulates politics.
I agree with you.
And if you don't have the laws functioning, then how do you...
How you can say,
how will politics be checked? Without the law, politics become unchecked. And we don't want that.
And you know, like I said,
we don't want that.
Again, you know, like I sit there and looking at all of you, and the law is supreme. No argument to that.
Thank you.
The law will always be supreme.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm thinking, all of you are law school students. Your senior students will be graduating. You'll become lawyers. Every president in this country will have a lawyer as a legal advisor. But yet, the presidents will break the law in the face of the legal advisor. And sometimes I'm thinking, what's the function? How can the justice minister or the legal advisor not tell the president, Mr. President, they won't ever get to it?
And he's the only person.
They won't ever
and
get
he's
to
the
it.
only.
Yeah, so
Clarence has opened a Pandora box. Let's leave that as a list.
I didn't bring that here for round 2.
Let's leave that as a list.
It's interesting.
As at now, we can go into that. So whether the
I need to bring it here, but let's take the line. Let's go to the line. Talk to callers. I mean, it's getting too interesting. 0777 700-995. I have 4 students here, senior students of the Louis Arthur Grant School of Law. They're here. We're talking law and politics. Journalist Darrell Zina, let's hear your perspectives.
Good morning, Clarence, and good morning to the students.
Good morning.
Well, Clarence, I've got a confusion, and I want the students to reconcile.
Okay.
From my own elementary jurisprudence of the law, it says that the Constitution is the organic law of the land, and then all other laws are statutes. Is there anywhere where the statute can have a limitation over constitutional authority exercising of the law?
Thank you. Did you understand the question? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Darius. Thank you, my brother. Hello?
Yep. Good morning, Clarence, and good morning to...
I'll just take maybe 3 or 4 because of time. Yeah.
My name is Abraham Political Module Setu, and I call from the most talk about Bagoba Avenue this morning. Let me appreciate your guest for the legal explanation this morning. And I agree with it. I think when we electing a lawmaker, there should be people with integrity. I am not saying our lawmaker doesn't have integrity, because they have the constitutional power to impeach a person. So normally we always blame the president. Well, the president say. You see the explanation from there. So before the president can be removed, because when the president is impeached, he can be sent to court. But if he's not impeached, if you move in power, you don't have a constitutional right to prosecute him. So I pray that we are Liberia, we should have a constitutional mindset to let the leader that will seek our interests.
Thank you. And I think we should have more of these kinds of conversations. I mean, we have a legal program. Massa will always bring these lawyers. I'm beginning to have more interest in the law school students. I'll do a redos of this show with them. So we open up on most of these things. Hello, we become more practical to talk about some of the issues. Good morning.
Good morning, Clarence.
Let's hear you.
Thank you, Clarence. I'm Michael Iflomo Senior,
Michael.
from U.S. campus. Yeah, let me say good morning to my old-time high school friend, Eddie Formula. Yeah, so I listened to them, right, Clarence? I think they spoke well. But my concern has to do with, Clarence, the issue of a capital punishment.
Okay.
Clarence, for example, we saw the way that young police officer was brutally killed by that fellow. But I think it was intentional. The brother would grab the brother across the bridge up to that point and kill him. These kind of, intentional killings. I want to ask my brothers in studio, along with my sister, can we put something up so that we can talk about this capital punishment thing, so that people will feel the pain of what they go through.
Come clear. You don't toy. Come clear. What you want to say?
What
kind of punishment you talking about? Come clear.
You do me, I do you. For example,
no, we are signatory to a lot of international laws. I'm not sure we can go that far. Okay, let's get to each of you now. I mean, we don't have time, but we'll manage it. Yeah, maybe 30 seconds. Respond to some of the things and just conclude.
Okay, yes. So Clarence, let me begin with Darius. Whether the statute supplant, the Constitution? No, the Constitution. In fact, your first year in law school, they will tell you that. The sources of law, the Constitution comes first. So the statute then next. So it means that the statute are drawn from the Constitution. Something that is an offshoot of the Constitution cannot be more than the Constitution. So the Constitution that we said from Article 2 is the fundamental and supreme law of our country. So the statute cannot supplant the Constitution. On the issue of capital punishment, like you already answered the caller, that we are signatory to a lot of international agreements and treaties, that you cannot do the R for an R and 2 for 2. That's why in our Constitution it says, in fact, when somebody commits a crime, the person is presumed to be innocent until the otherwise is established. Mm-hmm. So you cannot say, okay, since the person let me hit me in the eye, so I want to do that. No, that's not. Our law does not work that way. So to my last comment, my party comment is that the law is supreme. Politics will always be intentional. But politics can be resolved, political issue can be resolved through reconciliation and compromise. Law is there to change the society, to strengthen our society for the greater good of our country.
Family, let's hear you.
Yes, so just to add up to what has been said, we still have capital punishment on our books. It's still in our criminal procedure laws or so. But like you rightly said, because we've signatory to most of these international conventions and treaties, so we tend not to actually, go that route. But there's one thing I think that Carter said, and it's very important. This whole issue of crime being committed, and then the same perpetrators go to jail after a few times, they come back and commit the same crime. I think we need to start looking at it from the other standpoint. In as much as we actually support these international treaties and other stuff. As we speak today, in the greatest country of the world, in the United States, they're still executing per liter injections. So if somebody willingly take the life of another person, look, we can say all that we want to say, but in order to be able to actually settle some of these things and have our country running the way how we want it, sometimes we have to take some very drastic decision. Take for example that police officer that got killed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that guy will go to court, he will be tried, he might go to jail for life, but has it solved any problem for his family? No. But then again, somebody else might take the same courage and say I would do it and go to jail. So we definitely have to now start looking at how best we can.
Will it even solve any problem if he was killed?
Well, in a way, it could serve as a deterrent for other people not doing it also.
Okay, let's hear Joshua.
So
then we conclude with my
as a result of the statute. Right?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So Article 2 clearly states that the Constitution is a supreme law, and any other statute or laws that are inconsistent with the Constitution is void. Is dead on arrival. So there's no way possible a statute can be inconsistent, and the Constitution is a supreme law. In departing, I just want to say that our national legislature has a huge role to play, especially where they are being elected. They are a separate and independent branch of government, providing oversight and regulation. So they really have to do more because the citizens are counting on them. And like I think earlier you said that there are some of them who are even lawyers.
Yeah.
Those who are not lawyers, they have
it's okay. Go ahead.
People who work with them to provide them legal advice. So the national legislature has a key role to play in changing our country, and we expect more of them. And happy for having us on the show. And
thank you.
We should have more time.
Yeah, we'll do one more. I answered it powerfully. The show are getting sweet, but how to go? Yes.
So for example, we just had we have a case, recent case involving a 14 years old girl and a suspended deputy minister for youth and sports, right? So clearly, with the news we are hearing, from the police investigation and all of that, by virtue of the police assertion that they have to conduct a DNA examination and all of that before forwarding the case to court, we think that was purely law and politics, scenario. And what the police should have done in that case was to just within before or within 72 hours, just forward that case to court so that the man can exonerate himself, but not to say they have to do otherwise with respect to conducting DNA examination. So the police did not do well with that, even though we understand that was politics. And so the law needed to take its course in that case, and still it has to. So in conclusion, we would like to appreciate Councillor Gonglo, our Lieutenant Council. He has done well. He taught us, and having successfully studied the course law and politics and passed, he encouraged us to come here today. I mean, that was earlier planned. He encouraged us to come because he said he was impressed about his class and he wanted us to come and educate the public. And thanks to the OKFM family for providing us the forum to come in and be heard here on the subject law and politics. Thank you so much. Thanks
to all of
audience.
you, man.
Thank
Folk law school students, they've been our guests right here. Wonderful discussion. I promise the public I'll get them back here. So we stretch out on some of the issues. Thanks to all of you for coming. Let's take a break. We come back. Senator Nyantoyen is here. We'll usher him in very shortly.
Of independence was signed in 1847. 11 nations of people we are known as First Republic. The Lone Star shining evermore. The flag of Liberia is flying on the time. Showing allegiance, showing loyalty to this nation. Themselves and seek my face. I will rise and heal their nation. Liberia will rise again. Nations will come to your rising. I prophesy. Kingdom will come to your light. Together, let's keep the peace. 'Cause in unity we will build our nation. Arise, Liberia, arise and take your place. Whatever the locals are eating, arise and take your place. The flag of Liberia is flying on the time. Showing allegiance,
Okay. Senator Nyantoyen of Nimba is here. We'll begin our discussion very shortly. Thanks to Councillor Tiawan Gongolo for these law school students who've been here talking about law and politics from a constitutional perspective. You heard us talk about tenure position, power of the president as far as pardon is concerned. We talked about presidential immunity, and we're trying to get him here again. This is the OK Morning Rush. It's on Tuesday. Senator Nyantuan is here, and so we'll move straight in. Our friends are here from 231 Half Facts is also here, and of course, Liberia SLN News Network is here. All of them carrying this live. I don't know whether there's any radio station in Nimba carrying this. Just send us a text message. We'll announce it. Senator Twine, we'd like to say good morning. It's good to have you here again.
Thank you, Clarence. It's a pleasure to always sit across you. Thank you for the invite.
How is everything?
Well, you know, as I usually say, once you have life, you wake up in the morning and you can breathe, you have to be grateful. So everything is okay.
Everything is okay.
Yeah.
I like that. How's Nimba? When did you come from Nimba?
About a week ago. Just about a week ago, I came from Nimba, and you know, from interacting with the people, there are districts that we, you know, Nimba has 9 districts, 38 chiefdoms, and so, you know, to visit all of them is not an easy thing. So you need to do that in piecemeal. So every time you have the opportunity, you choose 2 or 3 chiefdoms, you visit them, and that's it. Visiting the district isn't a problem. I can visit all of the district within maybe 15 days. But to visit all of the 38 chiefdoms, that's a lot. So, you know, every time you have the opportunity, do one. Other than that, you'll be far from your people.
Yes, Senator. Yeah. For the last 2-3 months, you're in the news. You are in the papers. You are all over the place.
I hope that for the right reasons. Because as a mortal man with a lot of flaws, an imperfect man, you know, I don't tend to be anybody's light. I don't tend to preach moral high grounds. So I just hope that I've been in the news for the right reasons. Because I got my own flaws, I got my own faults. So hopefully I'm in the news for the right reasons.
Okay, Senator Twine, let's go straight into some of the issues for which we've invited you. Okay. There are many vehicles that made you Senator of Nimba County. Mm-hmm. Many vehicles in the context of different institutions and different groups. And one of them is the Nyantoa Foundation. And so every time you come on the radio, I like us to start from there so that you give an impression to us as to whether you've forgotten the Toyan Foundation or whether it is still running. Yeah. And maybe I would say the lead vehicle that brought you to power.
Sure.
Where's the foundation today?
The Nyadi Toyan Junior Foundation is alive and, you know, doing its usual work for the people of Nimba. For a matter of fact, just about a couple of days ago, to be precise, we started the distribution of food items on hospitals and clinics across the county, you know, for both patients and nurses. Because what we've done at the Nyadi Toyan Junior Foundation is that every time we do food donation, like rice to hospital, we always factor in the nurses, because those are caregivers who also are in need as well. And knowing the fact that, you know, they live on very meager salaries, they are the ones who are saving lives. So each time we are doing such thing, we think about them a lot. And hopefully we hope that this year, you know, the Ministry of Health will do as much as possible to capture more than 75% of them who are volunteer nurses in the hospitals and the clinics across the country. As a member of the budget committee, I think we did well on that, and we hope that by the end of the budget year, when the performance review comes in October, before the budget comes in November, we can be able now to track what those nurses were catered to, you know, to be placed on the payroll. So yeah, the Nyadi Toyan Junior Foundation is doing okay. Our next target will be academic materials for students in schools. That will be doing my county tour late November. You are invited. Let's tour Nimba, my man. Spend a couple of days with me and see. Yeah. Either the last week of November or the first week in December. It will be a 10-day tour, you know, targeting probably 7 districts. So it will be a good thing. That will be the dry season. The roads will be good. And so you can come back home. Yes. Not too many people know that, you know, you have a root in Nimba.
Very strong root there too.
Yes, I do know that. And you are very
versed in the vernacular as well. So
Yeah.
you will be a very easy come along.
Yeah.
And so then early next year, the foundation will focus. This year we focusing on health and education.
Okay.
Next year, I want to be very passionate about my market women. We haven't given them grant now for the last 2 years. And so every time you go, they say, "Oh, Nyan, thank you for the capital you brought for the children." Oh, but hey, for long, you not get all market money. So by next year, we'll be digging deep into our pockets to make sure that, we target a few group of women for the market women grant. This time around, we want to come very big as a foundation, other than the little ones. There are success stories about the little monies that were given out a couple of years ago, where women were able to pay it back to each other, and then a new group come and take the money, credit for themselves. They don't pay back the foundation because it's a grant, but they credit it to each other and then they pay back. So we'll tap on those success stories and expand the grant for the women, the market women grant for next year.
How do you carry out the distribution of the full items? Is it after a study of the needed amongst the people who need it most? I mean, I'm just thinking, do you have a committee that goes across to say, these people, they are the most needed in the building?
you do have the head of the foundation who is resident in the county under my office. So he does that. He's, already a M&E guy. So he does that. But to be honest with you, no, we don't do it because you know why? There are needs everywhere. So all we try to do is that we take people with the most needs. That's all. The bigger hospitals who have a lot of traffic, the smaller ones that are forgotten. There are, mid-level ones that are not doing too badly, but they don't have as much as traffic as the larger one, and they are not as isolated as the smaller ones, that are not noticeable. So that's how we derive it. But there are needs everywhere. You don't even need to look around. Yeah.
Okay, Senator. And so you say, you want to say
so that's
something?
the status of the foundation. And I told you, and I will repeat it again because the foundation is your passion. You're always asking me. I agree that, the foundation was the community entry strategy that we use, to get into the hearts and minds of our people back home in Nimba, having been away for a little while. And that foundation, as I always tell you, Clarence, even when I am gone, one day when God calls me, what I'm going to be doing with my lawyers, we've already started doing that. Whatever property that I own that will be a little bit more, capital attractive, will be capitalized and put in a trust fund that will continue to support my foundation. And I have told, my elder children who can now understand some of those things, that's why I'm sending you to school, focus on your education, do for yourself. I never inherited anything from my father. My father did not inherit anything from his father. So it's a family land thing. We're going to support you, give you all the necessary logistics and tools to be successful. But we are a humanitarian family who believes in giving back. So at the end of the day, my capital intensive property will be in a trust fund to support my foundation, even if I am gone.
Do you have an office in Nimba?
Yes, I do.
Is Senator Nyan Twine's office in Nimba?
Yes.
Okay.
I do have it, and it is the reason is noticeable, and not noticeable now is because it's right near Justina, the most populated bar in Ganta. But what has happened was she built a canopy, so usually now, about a year ago. So you don't see the signboard, you don't see the sign on the office, but people do know the office. Yeah, and that's the office that has been existing since 2021, and we hope to keep it that way. And that's it. And besides that, I got my home in Ganta. Where I go is more than the office because once I'm in town, I'm in Nimba. Wherever I am, it's almost like an office because the citizens will be there. If I'm there for 2 weeks, they are there until I leave. So yeah.
Representing a county like Nimba as a senator, I always thought it's a huge task. Especially the land space, the population of the people, and the comprehension of the people. You have universities in the place, and things are not the way it used to be before. You don't want to lie because you will be caught. Do you consider all these things when you're doing whatever engagement you're doing with your people?
Clarence, you just point out one of the dilemmas of lawmakers now. especially, an enlightened county with huge population like Nimba, you have to choose your words very carefully. Other than that, they will go through the roof, you will fall into some trouble. So yes, we walk in a very ginger path line in the disposition of our duty and responsibility to the public. And some of the scrutiny will come on, it will surprise you. And sometimes I ask questions. Somebody will say, I called you, he did not answer my phone. And they will make it as an issue. And sometimes, you are busy, like I'm in studio now. I will receive multiple phone calls. I may not pick up some of them. I will try to return one or two, and then other calls will come in, other issues come in, other meetings come up, and then you don't get to return that call, and then that person feels bad. So sometimes I ask a question to a group of young people. How did Blazo Towe, Johnny Voka, Woto Mongrelian, how did they manage?
How were they reachable?
How were they reachable?
No phone.
And how come not answering your one phone call of an individual makes you a bad lawmaker? And then we laugh about it. But it's true. So we have, the globalized world now, the age of social media, has made us to be much more vulnerable, which is a good thing because it brings about accountability. You got nowhere to hide. Like for instance, the other man would test me. I tested you on WhatsApp, you read a message, I saw the two blue line, wapi.
Yeah.
I say sorry. So you see, yeah, so it's a difficult one, but we like it. And the people of Nimba, you are right. We have one of the most, sensitive population in the country.
Okay.
So that's the reason why Nimba lawmakers, you have to be careful with your utterances. You have to be careful how you carry yourself, because other than that, you will come under scrutiny.
That's okay. We move. I know when you were in Nimba, you've been there for some time. I think I called you on the radio one time via phone, but
yeah.
I strongly believe I didn't give you enough time.
Yeah.
It was less than 2-3 minutes.
I didn't even want enough time.
Yeah, and you had to go because, it was not Nima Dinan TV just sent me a text that they are carrying it.
Okay.
Thanks to Ekmon Chuchubo Bawi and the folks there for carrying that. Now, I just hope I'm now waking up bad blood again, but I promised the public that I would have brought you so we hear your side. What went wrong with the committee that visited Yekepa recently to do an assessment of some of the things Aslamanda said it was doing? I'm asking because the chair of that committee, your colleague Senator Numenu T.H. Batikwa, was here, and he said, why is Nyan behaving like he didn't know we're going there? He was informed. We got to Ganta. We spoke to Nya. In fact, he said, what Nya did was terrible. The people would have seized us. They would have beaten us. He's from Nimba. He spoke the way he spoke with all kinds of characterization of the committee. But then he went on to say, Aslam Mentao insisted that we should not put Senator Twine on the delegation. Sorry for the words, because he's quote unquote, I don't want to use, but he's tough. He's arrogant. He seemed not to be listening to us. And so we decided to take the company's instruction because we did not want confusion. What went wrong?
First of all, I did not know that they were going to Nimba. That's the first thing I want to establish. Second of all, they had no business going to Nimba. That's the second point. Third of all, you cannot sit on public radio as an elected official of your country and tell the population that the company that you should be having oversight over tells you who not to come to a meeting. First of all, fun fact, I have been invited more than 15 times. I got receipt to that for a one-on-one meeting with the CEO of ArcelorMittal. I have turned those meetings down. I do not want to even meet ArcelorMittal, just ordinarily, other than a formal organized Senate hearing or a briefing with the legislative caucus. I have repeated that to them. So even if I was invited on that trip, I wouldn't have gone. The fact that that trip was going to be even on ArcelorMittal's concessional ground, I was never going to go there because I don't see the rationale of going there. Why are you going there? You going to inspect?
This is a committee set up a plenary, Senator.
First of all, let me clarify this. The public needs to know that the Senate, being robust, is trying to set up a comprehensive committee comprised of different chairpersons and committee members to review all of the concessions in the country, to have a workshop, let's say a retreat, whereby there will be international experts, people who got, wealth of knowledge in mining, integrity institution, who got expertise in how to track, taxation and transparency. The Senate going to bring them together along with concessionaires to actually look into what we can do to improve our deals with the concessionaires. That committee was announced, the MDA committee sort of, and it was announced to plan a retreat of the Senate that has not taken place yet. It was not meant to go and visit ArcelorMittal. I wrote a complaint to the Senate plenary. It was endorsed, and ArcelorMittal came for the briefing. We had a 4 hours briefing that didn't end. And so we postponed the hearing and we kept them on oath. So by matter of fact, ArcelorMittal is still going on a Senate hearing. But then we closed. So when we resume in October, ArcelorMittal by right should be coming to answer additional questions. If in the wisdom of Chairman Badikwa and the Senate leadership, ArcelorMittal shouldn't come, then we will send them the questionnaire to answer them to come. That will lead us to, preparing our final report and advisory to put out there to say these are our findings from Senator Nyan Twine's complaint against ArcelorMittal. While all that hasn't been done, what are you going to do to AML? Let me tell you the purpose of that trip. That trip was meant, ArcelorMittal planned that trip because of the negative media attention they've been getting. So they wanted a publicity stunt to portray out there that, oh yeah, you got, a couple of lawmakers, including Senator Twine, making noise on us, bringing us under scrutiny. Here we are working with, heads of committees of the Senate. That's all it was for.
You think so?
Yes, it was a publicity stunt. I will not tell you my source. It was a publicity stunt. And it failed miserably because I had to come in, and inform the public about the surreptitious.
You think it failed? Senator Batikwa said they will submit their report to plenary when you return.
Which are the report?
The committee's report.
But the committee has not yet concluded her hearings with ArcelorMittal. So where is the report coming from? So at the end of the day, Clarence, let's be practical a little bit. You say you have a committee that was set up by plenary. First of all, that's false. The committee was set up to plan a retreat to bring concessionaires together along with integrity.
That particular committee?
That committee. It was never set up to visit ArcelorMittal because ArcelorMittal is still on an ongoing hearing with us. Now, let's assume for the sake of the argument that that committee, had the latitude to visit ArcelorMittal. Why did Chairman Badikwa tell you that ArcelorMittal chose who to go there and who not to go there?
Because they said the company did not want confrontation.
Am I a confrontational guy?
They said maybe
they
you
just found someone who can read now, who can dive into the agreement and actually pinpoint things that they are not doing. That's all. ArcelorMittal hates that. They've always done that to undermine people. Second of all, why didn't you announce your travel in the Senate chat room?
It wasn't announced in your chat room?
No. So, thirdly, why didn't you announce your travel in the concession committee chat room that I am a part? That trip was nicodemously planned by ArcelorMittal as a publicity stunt to prove to the public that they have the legislature or members of the Senate on their side. And it failed miserably because it was uncovered and unearthed by me. And that's why, people are angry around here and using all sort of words on me.
Okay, Senator. Now, you've raised and continue to raise several issues you termed as violations the company has been carrying out over the years, and you want to right the wrong. You want the Senate to help the people of Nimba right the wrong. Mm-hmm. I've been seeing, I saw one social media post from your friend, Buakai Jaliba, and then I saw you come back to say, look, Buakai, go to your oil company. I'm not prepared to come down to that level, so we'll be doing Facebook thing. Yeah. I think it's at the Senate. In the midst of all these things, Senator Twine, what do you say to people who say, if Senator Twine and other lawmakers of Nimba are not careful, they will kill cow and eat dry rice? In this context, they mean, are you contemplating on a bigger dialogue, sit at the table with ArcelorMittal, bring to his attention some of the violations so that you as a caucus and people in the company sit to have a conversation on how you move on. People think all these accusation and claims and counterclaims is going to hurt you, Nimba, in this case.
No, it won't. It will actually help Nimba and Liberia a lot. But before I go into that, let me just say, you know, my friend and brother Manja Earth, I think he has some regrets. He should be having some regrets by now because he earned, you know, as a former employee at Selomita, you know, you got all the rights to, you know, to comment, you know, whatever, which way you want by yourselves, but not to challenge facts that a lawmaker is putting out there. I'm not here to praise him as Selomita. No. AML is not here to make friends with you and I. Clarence, the day that mountain runs out of iron ore, nobody from Selomita will be around here. They will be in a penthouse suite in Paris and London and Bonn and laying out there enjoying themselves from our resources. So I'm not here to be, you know, ringing praises onto Selomita. You're writing, oh, they face a railroad, oh, they do. What you expect them to pass with our mineral to carry abroad to go sell if they don't face the railroad? So Mita actually just invested into infrastructure that they can use to take our resources out of here and neglected the rest of the social responsibilities that the MDA calls for. So to your point, we will not be the loser. We will not kill cow and eat dry rest. You know what we've been doing? We've actually been killing cow and eating dry rest. And that's what I don't want. As one of the new sheriff in town who is overseeing this coke out, we will actually kill the cow and eat some. Because what is happening is that Selomita is killing the cow and clearing everything and they're giving us bone to eat. And that will not happen. Let's go into a couple of things. Over the past years, what Mita has been doing is resort to more PR than doing what it's supposed to do. I will reiterate a couple of points. You know, a few people have come in my inbox. You know, you need to catalog what all Selomita has done, hasn't done, so that we can be all the way. Look, I'm not here to do the executive job. As a lawmaker, I have an oversight and to raise issues, and the issues must be out there so that people can be on earth to inform the interministerial committee on concession to do its job. And if you notice that hearing at the level of the Senate, Clarence, we didn't just bring Selomita, and I want the public to know that. That's why some of these Senate hearings, you should follow them. We brought in the Ministry of Finance, the NRC, the Bureau of Concession, the Ministry of Mines, the Ministry of Public Works. In that hearing, they concentrated the building Yikipa. The Public Works Minister categorically looked into that faces and said, you did not inform us. We don't know about it. How can you be putting that kind of infrastructure in our country? Our chief infrastructure minister doesn't know about it. They didn't approve of it or didn't, know about that. The Lands and Mines Ministry should be receiving $100,000 every year from Selomita as of 2007 for research in mining and geology. $1 has not been given to the ministry since that time, confirmed by the Minister of Lands, Mines, and Energy. The Minister of Finance was in that meeting, proxied by the Deputy Minister. He outlined a whole lot of, financial issues that AMA is not living up to, including the 20% that they are deducting from the Social Development Fund. They are claiming that they gave up $5 million for the three countries every year. They are taking 20% of that $5 million to implement by themselves. No, if that 20%, in the wisdom of the legislature, in the wisdom of the then finance minister, Minister Tuer at the time and the legislature at the time, thought that the affected community should have 20% of the Social Development Fund, then we don't need a middleman again to implement that. These are responsible people. If the country can be responsible enough to implement her own Social Development Fund, then the districts and the chiefdoms that are affected are responsible enough to implement what they want. But you gave the money back to Selomita. Mita set up a middleman. The middleman is the one implementing the project, and they have only implemented up to 40% of that money, and the rest is sitting in the banks with them. You see some of the challenges we are faced with. So these are some of the things. Let's go to the next one. Clarence, this is the MDA. I might give you a copy today. Article 10 of this NDA is clear. as of 2007 of the review of the agreement, because in 2005, let us admit.
Before we go to that Article 10,
yeah.
When the Senate invited these different ministries and agencies,
Yeah.
and these revelations were made, was ArcelorMittal given the opportunity to defend itself? For example, if Fana says, ArcelorMittal, you didn't do the public work, say we didn't know that.
The CEO was the star of the show. He didn't refute any of those things. In fact, the Bureau of Concession said in that hearing that ArcelorMittal has been very, very disobedient to the bureaus.
And the CEO of ArcelorMittal was there.
They were there. All of their staff were there. And the head of the Bureau of Concession, Theodore Momo, called him right now on the phone. And he said that clearly. They are in several violations and they are not compliant. They don't even respect the Bureau. But you know what? I blame it on those people. You can imagine if I was the head of the Bureau of Concession and somebody from AML is not honoring certain things. I mean, let's leave that for another day. That's why I'm saying it to raise it from my angle. So they all were there and these things came out. At the end of the day, let's go to some specifics. And this thing we're doing, let people know that in 2005, we're not in our right frame of mind. That's true. I agree with people. That's the reason why when President Sally took over in 2007, we decided to review the concession and put some meat to it that will actually benefit our people. In that agreement in Article 10, what did we say? You got 3 people who are the heads of ArcelorMittal, the CEO, the COO, and the CFO. Let one of them, after a year of this review, be appointed. Let a Liberian be appointed.
Meaning 2008.
Yes.
By reasoning.
Yes.
You want me to see that provision?
Yes, Article 10. I will give it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I will give it to you. Article 10. I will give it to you. So at the end of the day, Clarence, up to today, that person has not been appointed since 2008.
Where the orange line is?
Yeah. That person has not been appointed.
Article 10, amendments to Article 7 of the MDA, employment and secondment. Concessionaire shall not import unskilled labor into the Republic.
Another violation.
Subject to viability, the concessionaire shall employ qualified Liberian citizens for skilled, technical, administrative, and managerial positions in accordance with the schedule attached as Appendix G. The concessionaire shall ensure that, subject to availability within 5 years of the amendment effective date, 25% of all senior management positions at the concessionaires are held by Liberian citizens.
Thank you.
Increasing to 50% within 10 years of the amendment effective date. Not later than 360 days after the amendment effective date, the concessionaire shall appoint a Liberian citizen to one of the top 3 management positions of the concessionaire. Not later than 360 days. Wow, 1 year?
Yeah, as of 2007.
And when was this thing?
2007.
This is 2007.
2007, Clarence. That's just.
I wanted to read that for myself.
Up to now, no Liberian served in the top 3 management. When they were coming to the hearing, you know what they did? They removed the COO position from on our website and came and lied on our oath to the Senate that the HR of ArcelorMittal is the third in command. When all along,
and the HR is a Liberian.
Yeah, when all along we knew that there are 3 top management positions, executive positions in AML. Why are they lying? It's the CEO, the CFO, and the COO, Chief Operating Officer. Why one of them? Because they don't and they will never try by themselves without any pressure to appoint a Liberian to that position. This advocacy is about us because we need somebody senior to sit at that table. The reason why we are having problems with the concession is because that concession is led by foreigners. Liberians are just down. As we speak, and they say 50% of all senior management positions should be there. You know where it stands now? Is at 42%. It at 42%. Right now, the 25% that they talked about, it hasn't even yet reached. So these people are in gross violation of Article 10. Now, let's go to Article 8 of the MDA. As I usually say, these are not my words. I'm using the MDA as my advocacy for a better deal from AML and retroactive implementation of these clauses. These are not mine. Article 8 of the concession clearly articulates, Clarence, that the concessionaire shall construct and build health centers and hospitals across the concession area and equip them with state-of-the-art equipment. Up to now,
I'm being told at some point, ArcelorMittal and the government agree that since there was an existing structure or there were existing structures, they should just renovate and bring it up to the level like the Yekepa Hospital and other facilities. While it is in that agreement, I understand this was the agreement between the company and the government.
Now, which are the agreement? This is the MDA. This is the Bible.
I mean, let me say an understanding.
Yes, an understanding cannot supersede the MDA. No, it cannot. Now, listen to me, Clarence. I will come back to that argument. On oath, during that hearing, Senator Darius Dale asked the executive of ArcelorMittal, according to the MDA, as stipulated here, you should have built in the concession areas. That is including Nimba, Bong, and Grand Bassa. Hospitals, state-of-the-art hospital, is there, state-of-the-art hospitals and health centers, and equip them with state-of-the-art equipment. The language was very crystal and clear. Have you done so? You know the answer? No. But we renovated a hospital in Yekepa. My follow-up question to them at the time was, is the Yekepa hospital equipped with state-of-the-art equipment? The answer is no, Clarence, because you cannot even do surgery in Yekepa. They have to bring people to San Nicolas in a struggling hospital to do surgery. You see how shameful it is? This is not my word. This is written in black and white. In black and white. This is Article 8. You read it again. You read Article 8.
Where is it? There?
Yeah. Article 8 of the MDA.
Concessionaire.
Yeah.
Shall construct, maintain, and operate health facilities in the concession area and shall install, maintain, and use modern health devices and equipment and practice modern health procedures and precautions in accordance with accepted international medical standards.
That's Article 8 for you. ArcelorMittal honor admitted that they have not done so. Where is the argument here?
But they're currently doing surgery in Yekepa, the hospital. Don't they do surgery there?
The last time I checked, they were.
I think they're doing surgery there.
Well, if they're doing, where are the state-of-the-art equipment? Do they have dialysis machine there? Do they have MRI there? Do they have CT scan there? Do they have the equipment there? They say state-of-the-art, modern equipment to meet any standard. They don't have it. But why are we even talking about Yekepa Hospital when they should have constructed health centers and hospitals across the concession area? These are gross violations that we shouldn't even be tolerating from these people.
Assuming all of the things you're saying are true,
they are true.
Who do you blame?
I blame the executive branch of government and ArcelorMittal equally. That's why in my letter to the Senate, and to my satisfaction, the Senate brought them along, so that before them we can tell them how they are not following up to doing their job and monitoring AML.
Okay, maybe tomorrow or Thursday, I think I need to avail some time to ArcelorMittal in the midst of all this. Let them come too. Let's hear from them. Senator, what's the way forward? Listen. You are returning in October.
Yeah.
ArcelorMittal is still placed on an oath. They're supposed to come back to you.
Yeah.
What's the way forward?
Let me just tell you something. The list goes on and on and on. I can sit here and name a lot. First of all, before the way forward, ArcelorMittal, in the agreement, should be paying us royalty, which they are doing. And they should also be paying us dividend on profit that they declare, right? That's what the agreement says. Do you know that as far as my knowledge is concerned, the public records are concerned, ArcelorMittal has not reported a single profit for the last 20 years?
A single profit?
Yes. The president just even mentioned something like that in the U.S. day before yesterday. You know what they do? The transfer pricing regime is a terrible thing. And transfer pricing is where you spend $1 on something, and then you say you spend $50 on it and get your tax break for it, and then you report loss in the jurisdiction, you go and report profit in the other jurisdiction that you don't want to pay taxes. That's what they've been doing to us. So how do we get, dividend on their profit if they cannot declare that profit? This is not a laughing matter. This is wickedness. So, that's one of those things. The misinvoicing that they carry on. Misinvoicing also is where you spend $50 on something, and then you go and declare also that you spend X amount of dollar on it. Like the concentrator that they say they built. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the breaking news. The $1.4 billion were all in the media. Oh, the people built a concentrator for $1.4 billion. Even if it was a wrong information in the public that represented your entire investment portfolio, you should have clarified to the public that this concentrator is not 1.4. Our entire investment portfolio is 1.8 billion up to 2030, but we have spent 1.4 billion. Then we will understand. But you allow that narrative in the press that they built the thing for 1.4. What happened? When they were brought at the Senate, their CFO broke everything down. $250 million they constructed that concentrator. Had it been like that, they were going to give us an invoice of $1.4 billion, get a tax break on it, swallow their profit, then we don't get dividend on the profit. Senator, this is how come ArcelorMittal have been cheating us.
On the issue of governance, of transfer pricing, I know that the Liberia Revenue Authority is the authority responsible for that, and sometimes they do auditing. And I also heard that a specific transfer pricing formula or methodology was agreed upon amongst or between the government of Liberia, the LRA represented, and ArcelorMittal Liberia. The same thing I talk about.
Yeah, they got details in the agreement for that. But listen to what is not happening. That cannot be implemented because few things happening here. And this is where we get to the technical part, and sometimes it's hard to explain. ArcelorMittal is the one digging the hole. Unlike Lamco and other companies, first of all, let's put this in context. ArcelorMittal is not a mining giant. They are actually a steel giant. They produce steel and sell it around the world. So one of their first few experiments to mine was in Liberia. Let's get that fact set up first. So they're the one own the company that mining. They're the one selling to themselves. What has not happened for 20 years is that ArcelorMittal is the one that set the price, at the same time sell to herself. Can we, they have not been able to open their books for that particular line of audit. Do we know the quantity of iron ore that have left from this country?
Is that one of your concerns?
So guess what now? Yeah, that's one of my concerns. Because ArcelorMittal is the parent company of ArcelorMittal. So they said the iron ore price they buy. If they were selling to another person, we could just go and tell the person, please give us the transaction notice between you and ArcelorMittal. Then we'll know. But ArcelorMittal tells us what they tell us, and we take it by the books. But guess what? You talk about way forward. You know one of the way forward that we have to do? First of all, the LRA, on that committee, the report will suggest that we do a comprehensive audit of AML book from 2007 up to now. On these following. One, we need to know the CIT or ArcelorMittal, the net corporate income tax that ArcelorMittal has paid this country. I'm talking about withholding from employee. I'm talking about royalty. To prove my point that they have not declared profit so we can get dividend, what constitutes their corporate income tax? Second of all, we want to know all of the tax waiver we're giving ArcelorMittal for the last 20 years. Second of all, we want to see all of the incentive that we've given them over the years. Clarence, it is my estimation, and this is the announcement I wanted to make, that if we calculate all of these things, they're not paying corporate income tax. we giving them tax waiver on a lot of things, and at the same time giving them, waiver on a lot of things. We may even find out that ArcelorMittal just taking our own free of charge.
Okay, Senator Nyantoy, we'll hold you there. Somebody just sent me a picture from the ArcelorMittal Hospital in Yekepa. They wanted to prove a point that there is a molding. There are molding facilities there. The person sent me these pictures. I just wanted to display them.
Okay, I can just say any kind of picture from the internet. I must say.
Well, let's take some
we're
calls.
not doing
This is the
discussion here. This is a serious policy
This
discussion.
is the OK Morning Rush on 99.5. Like I have announced, except the company will now want to come to the radio. But I think Senator Twine has been raising these issues. It will be good for us to hear from ArcelorMittal. We will try to extend them invitation. 0777 700-995.
We haven't even exhausted the list yet.
995. Yes, Senator, we got to take call because of the time.
We haven't even exhausted the list of violations. There are just many.
Imagine we get 10 minutes. Hello?
David Kuti, my name.
Mr. David Kuti, let's hear you, man.
Thank you. I was in Sunny College as a teacher in 1976 at the SDA school. And I visited Lanco many times. And I can tell you something. If the lawmakers during the Tubman administration were doing what Senator Twine is doing today, this country was going to be at a different level. I left Sunny College in 1977. I went back there after 30 years. And I cried for Sunny College. Just because of wicked and greedy politicians during the Tubman administration. They wanted everything for themselves. And if we don't stand up, investors will continue to think that the Liberian people are just a bunch of fools. Senator Yantoyan, don't get tired. You're doing the right thing. I wish you were one of the senators during the Tubman administration. This country, the people invested, Lamco invested over $200 million in 1963, just around that area. If you calculating that by now, you're talking about billions of dollars. What can we show for it? What can we show?
David Kuti.
A bunch of thieves, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Let Darrell Dillon go for you. Soon you see they want Darrell Dillon can pull it right back to you. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah?
Hello?
Yeah? Are you there? You're still there.
Hello, I'm here. Hello?
Yeah, good morning. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm Benjamin B. Yeager. I'm calling from the Harvest Independent American University this morning.
Okay, yeah.
So, I listened to the senator, and personally, I didn't go to Lango. I was a kid. I didn't go there, but I know friends who were there. And also, I just took a step in high school, and I know the kind of investment I was in Lango or Yekepa in Lango doing this.
Oh, calls keep
the aspiration of people to go and live there. But that was the point. I went to Yekepa recently, and I did videos on my Facebook page, and I saw the massive I was letting out in that place because of the money and everything that went on. And then I see the concession area is far from what it was. Then you have a company in this country that people, and the shocking, let me just say, Bwaka Jaliba, if I was in executive or they were advising President Bwaka, to come to be challenging is a sitting senator when he's proffering things on a concession and you try to challenge the man's accession just because we're from because
can be
challenged yourself as someone who is biased. The fact that you come to commend your former employer. But Senator, I want to say that I'm praying for you that God will give you the courage and the strength.
Okay, thank you. The courage and the strength. Let's leave it like our time is not in our favor. We're running 8 minutes now. Let me take a call from Minnesota. Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Jackson.
Good morning, sir.
And good morning to the studio guest, Honorable Yanto. I'm Thomas William calling from Minnesota.
Yep.
Mr. Jackson, I want to extend thanks and appreciation to the lawmaker in the studio. That is what we call true representation. And I want to use the occasion to also call on Honorable Anthony F. Williams from the House of Representatives, who represents the People's Southern District. I was in Maryland County this year, March. Maryland County was the second largest rubber plantation, the Kavala rubber plantation. And similar bad labor practices are there. The people work on a constant intimidation. People are 40 are willing to retire forcibly so that they can get benefit instead of being fired without benefit. So thank you, Senator. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's hear you. Hello.
Yeah, good morning, Clarence.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I would like to say good morning to Senator Jan Twaye. I'm George Guanon Luogon. I call you from Monrovia.
Okay.
I followed the senator this morning. I followed all of his debate. I would like to say thanks to him for, always standing up for his people and the vow he made to the people during the campaign. He continued to stand by it. We say thank you. And to the issue of ArcelorMittal hospital issue that someone sent to you, as you said. What I understand is that the entire building, ArcelorMittal actually worked on a new portion of that building. Some where people go there to use it for public relations. But it is very unfortunate that in this country, right under our nose, people will be doing that. The ArcelorMittal is getting more political. Like I wonder, one of the Facebook posts, if they don't want to be corporate, if they take political stand, then we from Nimba will take similar stand, and it will be good for them.
Thank you. Let's hear you here. Hello, we'll take you and take one more. We gotta get a senator. I leave 5 minutes. Hello.
Good morning, Clarence.
Good morning.
I want to say good morning to my best friend in the Transit Gate. This is Leo Piso. I'm calling from Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Yeah.
Look, you see, we make a lot of mistakes doing our parents and grandparents' time because there were not much educated old people at the time, right? And our age to do a lot of educated people. It would be so sad for us that our parents couldn't protect our future because many of them were still educated. Today, we call ourselves educated Liberians. If we cannot think about the children after all, then there's no need of having a country called Liberia, right? I want to hold my friend in the studio there with very high extent because in Liberia, when people try to do the right thing for the country, people talk about death, people talk about someone going to kill you. Well, do you trust again? I'm going to call him, right? If you die for the right thing, do it. Let your spirit die, rest in peace. But don't sit there and see your country go down the drain because of one of you dollars that will all leave on that bed tomorrow.
Thank you. Senator Twaye, let's come back to you, man. Fair enough, we gave you the rest of the time.
Thank you, Dio. I will not die for my rights. I will live actually for the rights of myself and the rights of the people of Nimba and Liberia. Clarence, many thanks to the encouraging words from members of the public. Let me say this. It is within the agreement. I will come back because it lays long, Clarence.
Maybe we'll need 2 hours next time.
Yeah, this lays long. It is within the agreement that the entire concession area, especially Yikipa, Buchanan, shall be reconstructed. As we speak, the houses in Yikipa are still dilapidated, people living in containers. They renovated a few, and then they started bringing in containers. Now, somebody say, oh, the citizens are occupying the houses, that's why the people have not been able to renovate those houses. That's not true. Go to Area F and other places, the houses are in the butchers and lying in ruins. Go and renovate those ones first. The still got houses lying in ruins in Buchanan, in the loop. Go and renovate the ones that are unoccupied first. Then if we now want the rest of it to be, renovated, then you can now say, oh, your citizens are occupying these houses. So that excuse does not hold. You have not lived up to that. Now, it talked about the road. The road somehow was managed and removed from the agreement to be placed on a social corporate responsibility. I must admit, to AMS credit, the government had a role to play too in the construction of the road. But now that we have a government that is willing now to match whatever, that Yikipa road, we have to look at it critically. It is inexcusable in the future for anybody, even if you are not from Nimba County, to stand and tell people that you see the road, this is a road leading to a mountain that had billions of dollars worth of iron ore in it that was extracted. How will you feel? How they themselves feel? I told one of the managers, when I took office New Day, I said, do you know that you're spending more money on vehicle because your vehicles are getting damaged on that bad road? Do the math and see if you pave this road, how much you'll be saving on vehicle. Your vehicles are usually, and he told me, say, those vehicles are between 1 year to 1 year, 6 months, and they get damaged. That's true. Why we don't face that road? And we will have to face that road. Moving on, this is our prayer, Clarence.
Finally.
1, we will retroactively implement all of the violated clauses within the current MDA that was reviewed in 2007. We've already listed some of them. We need to have one of the 3 top executive appointed. We need to begin to construct hospitals and schools and equip them as per the MDA. We need to face that road going to Yikipa. We need to renovate the housing unit in Yikipa. We need to retroactively pay back the scholarship funding that we didn't implement between 2007 and 2012 because it's supposed to be $200,000. You didn't start the process until 2012.
You think we can dialogue on that?
Probably, we left with the IMCC. We need to retroactively pay the $100,000 to the Ministry of Mines that was meant for research for our young geologists in this country. If you have not paid that money, you need to start paying that money. You need to open your books so that we can audit you, because you are the miner, you are the buyer, you are the declarer. You need to open your books so that we can know. We need to go back in time and pay retroactive corporate income tax. We need to do that. ArcelorMittal need to also begin now declaring actual profit on what they have. The concentrator that they constructed should have been constructed a long time ago. You know why they brought it closer to 2030? Because they want that public, publicity to be there. Oh, the people doing well.
In the midst of all these things,
we're not going to do that.
You think we can still negotiate?
Negotiation is the only way out. Because to be fair, like the president said, and I support, I am not all for ArcelorMittal out. I am here for retroactive implementation of defaulted clauses. And then when the new MDA comes, I will encourage the legislature to appoint an internationally recognized independent institution to advise us adequately with serious community dialogue and engagement with an improved MDA moving on. But before we can even reach that far, these people must retroactively implement the defaulted clauses within the current MDA.
Thank you so much, Nimba County Senator Nyan Toy, and we'd like to say thanks to all of our colleagues from the different online platforms who've been here, Nima, DNN TV. Thank you so much. If any radio station carried in and anyway, Nima, I'd like to say thanks to all of you who will have more of these conversations. I'm extending an invitation to ArcelorMittal. If the company is available, it can come on to let the Liberian people hear its side in the midst of all these allegations from Senator Toy as far as the Mineral Development Agreement signed in 2007 is concerned. My name is Piso. I'd like to say goodbye to all of you. We'll be back here tomorrow with another edition of the Morning Rush. Bye-bye. Thanks to Poye. We just named them. Bye-bye.